Hello everyone. If you like this audiobook and want to listen to more, please consider subscribing. And if you like this video, like it as well, that it enjoy.
31. Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? The silence is the worst part of any fight, because it's made up of all the things we wish we could say, if only we had the guts. Pete Wentz. The school's interview room. Kate sat in the chair with perfect posture, back straight, hands neatly on her knees like she was interviewing for a Fortune 500 company. Jordan was much the same. "All right, Kate, I won't waste time with small talk since we've already met." Hillel set Kate's file aside. Jordan and Kate were both students with decent personal morals. At least they hadn't shown any major red flags yet. Even if they did, for the sake of ability points, principals were whatever the Guardian said they were. After all, he held the right to interpret those things, didn't he? "Can I join the 7 now?" Kate reached out and deliberately touched Hillel's hand. A mental wave hit him. "Child, you really think your little trick is enough to show off in front of me?" Hillel grabbed her hand and pulled her closer. Kate let out a surprised yelp and fell into his arms. To her shock, she discovered she couldn't read the Guardian's mind at all. It was completely different from last time. This time, the Guardian had completely blocked her power. How is that possible? Even with special training, no one should be able to completely shut out my telepathy. "Nothing is impossible. Last time was just me testing your behavior and the strength of your power." Hillel let go of her. Kate looked pleasantly surprised. Like she'd discovered some kind of treasure. A soup completely immune to her telepathy and mind control was the chosen one. Even her childhood sweetheart Golden Boy didn't have that kind of resistance. "So, what job have you arranged for me?" Kate tried to hide her excitement. "A VOD International internship. Your ability could be useful for interrogating criminals, but I accept. You might want to think it over. A criminal's mind is usually way more fucked up than a normal person's, it might." No need to say anything more. "I accept working by your side." Kate looked like she'd found a new continent. Her excitement was written all over her face. Hillel's super hearing told him her reaction was genuine. She really was excited, but not because of the job. Key character: Jordan Lee. Emotional change, anticipation. Ability points gained, plus 2,743. Key character: Kate Dunlap. Emotional change, tentative right pointing arrow, shocked right pointing arrow, ecstatic right pointing arrow, adoration. Ability points gained, plus 2,276. Current ability points, 19,456 250,000ths. Monday. Jordan and Kate arrived at VOD International together to start their internships. Ashley arranged their positions: members of the Guardian's oversight team. Internship monthly salary of $8,000, doubling once they went full-time. Their actual work would be decided by Hillel. The Guardian: what exactly is our job? When the two walked in excitedly, they found Hillel with his legs kicked up on the desk, a box of pizza and a giant iced bucket of Coke, Pepsi and Dr. Pepper beside him. On the wall opposite, the TV was playing SpongeBob SquarePants. SpongeBob SquarePants, quote. The two were dumbfounded. What happened to the heroic image? Fighting crime, being an ambassador of justice. All they saw was a shut-in stuffing high-calorie junk into his mouth, occasionally letting out a loud burp. When he saw them enter, Hillel gave orders on the spot. "Jordan, go pour me a glass of water, then sit there. Kate, you sit too. Don't be polite. Treat this like your own home." Hillel didn't even look away from the screen as he clicked to the next episode. He used to love this cartoon back in the day but never got to finish it. Now he was going to binge it from start to finish. Sir," Kate asked cautiously, "what exactly is our job?" "Job?" Hillel chewed on his pizza without looking back. "Your job is to be on standby. When there's no mission, do whatever you want. When there is a mission, I'll let you know. Just like that." Jordan, currently in female form, folded their arms with an expression of disbelief. "Just like that? Then what should we do now?" Hillel pointed at the sofa. "Sit down and watch SpongeBob SquarePants. Squidward moves out, a classic among classics." Jordan and Kate exchanged a glance. An $8,000 monthly salary, working directly under the Guardian at VOD International, and the main duty was watching cartoons. Is there any shame left in this world? Is there any law left? Is there any pizza left? 3 minutes later, the two had their feet up on the coffee table, pizza in one hand and cola in the other. "Let me ask you a question." Hillel suddenly spoke while still watching the cartoon. Here it comes. This must be the real test. Everything before was just the Guardian putting on an act to lower their guard. The two perked up, listening carefully. Maybe he was testing their professional knowledge about superpowers. So, do you guys prefer Coca-Cola or Pepsi? Kate. Jordan. Pepsi, I guess, Kate said. She opened a bottle of Coca-Cola. I can't really tell the difference. Jordan answered honestly. The correct answer should be Dr. Pepper, Hillel said with a serious look, making them dumbfounded. In the end, the three of them sat side by side on the sofa watching SpongeBob SquarePants. The scene was strangely harmonious for a while. A classic is a classic. Until the office door was pushed open. Starlight walked in. Hillel, do you want to, tonight? Before she could finish, Annie saw the scene on the sofa. For a woman new to relationships, all she saw was the Guardian sitting with two women, one on each side. One of them even had the exact same blonde hair as her. Starlight's smile froze on her face. Annie, perfect timing, come watch SpongeBob with us. Hillel acted like he hadn't noticed anything and patted the spot next to him. Starlight stood frozen. Her gaze swept over Kate and landed on Hillel. So, does Hillel have a blonde fetish? The pizza in Kate's hand nearly dropped to the floor. She recognized Starlight immediately, but as a woman, her intuition picked up the murderous vibe. St. Starlight, Kate shot up from her seat. I'm your fan. Starlight's expression softened a little. Thank you. Then she walked over, sat right next to Hillel, and naturally placed her hand on his arm. Hillel felt his arm get pinched lightly. Stop it, Annie, we're having fun. Kate had already scooted to the very edge of the sofa. She was scared of getting blood on her face. Jordan was sweating bullets. Should they switch to male form? Urgent help needed online. Ahem, we're gonna go buy more pizza. Yeah, Orleans chicken leg pizza. The two found an excuse and bolted like they were fleeing for their lives. Annie, look, you scared the kids. Hillel took a sip of cola. He could hear Starlight's heartbeat racing. Do you have a blonde fetish? Quote. 32. Say no to CCK block. A gray day provides the best light. Leonardo da Vinci. Is Hillel obsessed with blondes? Nah, he just flat out appreciates a good-looking woman. He likes every beautiful girl the same. Still, he took the time to explain exactly who Kate and Jordan were to Starlight. Only after that did she cheer up again. Afterward, Hillel got a call. It came straight from a VOD International executive. Edgar himself was on the line, inviting him up to the top floor office at 3 p.m. for coffee. Not going. I'm busy. Hillel hung up without another word. He had plans to spend the afternoon at home with Starlight, having a good time, watching cartoons, movies, stuffing their faces with snacks, and getting to know each other real fucking well. Mr. Guardian, this is an order from Edgar. Do you know who he is? No soup at VOD International dares to disobey. Edgar's secretary spoke in a tight, stern voice, but she didn't get to finish. Then do you know who the fuck I am? Tomorrow I'm gonna blow your goddamn head off. The secretary didn't take Hillel's threat seriously. Mr. Edgar will be waiting for you at 3 p.m. If you don't show, you'll have to deal with the consequences. Starlight listened from the side, looking worried. Edgar ran VOD International. Nobody fucked with him, yet Hillel straight up ignored the invitation. No matter who you asked, it was hard to believe. This isn't good, right? We're both contracted soups with VOD. Hillel didn't give a shit. He scooped Annie up and carried her straight into the bathroom. Forget about being soups at VOD. The moment the door clicked shut, he set her down only to push her against the cool marble wall. Let's just be us in this moment, he said, crashing his lips onto hers. MHHM, Annie moaned into the kiss, her fingers already clawing at his shirt. Hillel stripped them both and turned the shower on, hot water cascading over them instantly. Steam filled the bathroom as he lifted her effortlessly, pinning her back against the tiled wall. So, do you want more, or should I go and meet Edgar? Quote. Stay. Annie wrapped her legs around his waist, heels digging into his lower back, pulling him closer. Good girl. Warm water poured over their bodies as he kissed her deeply, tongue dominating her mouth. 10 minutes later, the lights on the whole floor started flickering. 3 hours. The whole building lost power again. At 3 p.m. sharp, Edgar picked up the coffee his secretary had brewed and waited for his guest with perfect poise. 3:10, 3:20, 3:30, sir, I definitely notified the Guardian. He should have been here at 3, the secretary looked panicked. She never thought the Guardian would actually have the balls to no-show. I'll call him myself. Edgar dialed the number. Beep, beep beep, the phone rang. Hillel rolled over, grabbed the phone, and motioned for Starlight to keep going. The Guardian, this is Edgar. Clap, clap, paw, paw. Ooh, ooh, ah, ooh. The wet, filthy sounds coming through the line made the man who'd run Vought for decades feel a vein pop on his forehead. Guardian, we have an agreement. When I need you, I expect you to come immediately. Edgar loosened his tie, already getting used to this kind of shit. The Guardian really was the same as the rest of these trashy soups. Wave enough money around and they all got corrupted easy. Hillel tossed the phone behind Starlight and took charge again. The lights in the nearby buildings started flickering too. Click. The call cut off. Hillel frowned and pulled up his panel. Edgar's personality was too damn stable, even this couldn't make his emotions spike hard. Whatever. No point overthinking it, business first. On the third day, Hillel finally showed up late. The second he walked in, Ashley was already waiting in the lobby. Mr. Edgar is waiting for you. Oh my god, how could you leave the big boss hanging like that? The corporate suit gave a bitter smile. Edgar carried way more weight than Madeline. Even though Ashley had taken over her position, she still didn't dare piss off the real boss. But she didn't dare piss off Hillel either. He was the big backer she needed to keep her footing in the company. Poor honest Ashley stayed stuck right in the middle. What are you scared of? He's not gonna laser your ass or blow your head off like Homelander. Hillel looked completely unbothered. Ashley didn't dare say a word, because Homelander was also waiting right there in the lobby. The moment he saw Hillel walk in, Homelander flashed a big smile and greeted him. He used to think Hillel just wasn't scared of him, but he never expected the guy to fuck with Edgar too. This was just fucking awesome. Could a soup really be this ballsy? Oh, it's Homelander. Hillel greeted him casually. Seeing Hillel's casual attitude, Homelander didn't get pissed, he actually looked happy. Only real friends could talk to him like that, right? Bro, Edgar's waiting. I don't like the guy much either, but you still gotta think about the 7. Homelander said, still putting in a word for Edgar. Hillel looked a bit disappointed, like Homelander was letting him down. I'm not trying to shit on you, Homelander, but why the fuck don't you just go at Edgar yourself? Homelander stayed quiet. He walked beside Ashley, his heartbeat picking up whether he wanted it or not. Every time he thought about Edgar, that unstoppable cowardice hit him. Guess that's just how he was built. No matter how tough the son gets, he still fears his father. Top floor, Edgar's office. Ashley opened the door and Hillel floated in with his legs crossed. Edgar didn't even glance up. He kept reading a document while his female secretary stood next to him. Hillel ignored Edgar completely and stared right at the secretary instead. You the one who called me yesterday? The secretary's face went stiff. This was a soup who had the balls to stand up the big boss. She wasn't about to act tough now. Because he really might blow her head off. It was me. You're pretty bold, ordering me around like that. That was my order, Edgar said, still not looking up. Hillel didn't answer. He just floated right in front of the secretary. Do you know who I am? You are the Guardian, she answered, voice shaking. Then you should know I'm one of the strongest soups on the planet. Who the hell gave you the balls to talk to me like that? The red glow in Hillel's eyes flickered. At this distance the secretary could feel the scorching heat burning her face. Sweat poured down her skin and her makeup started running. I didn't mean to. Thanks to Edgar's power, this secretary had gotten used to throwing her weight around at Vought. She wouldn't dare boss Homelander, but she loved ordering other soups. Everyone at Vought knew she was Edgar's bitch. If you kill her, you'll be violating the justice you claim to stand for. Edgar finally put the document down and looked straight at Hillel. His heartbeat shifted a little, but not much. Every fucking inch of Capital is soaked in sin, and Capital's dogs aren't innocent either, right? Bright light shot from Hillel's eyes. The secretary screamed and collapsed on the spot, piss soaking through her clothes. Of course Hillel wasn't actually going to kill an innocent person. He wasn't some demon. Back when he was a young Polish guy with big dreams watching the fireworks on New Year's Eve, he still kept some basic lines he wouldn't cross. Alright, now tell me why you wanted to see me. Edgar stared at Hillel for a full minute, then pointed at the chair across from him. The Guardian, please sit. A cup of coffee was already waiting on the table. Hillel walked over to Edgar's fridge. Fuck no Pepsi or Dr. Pepper. He pulled out a bottle of Coke and said, I'll take this instead. Edgar didn't bother with the small stuff. He slid a folder across to Hillel. Do you know about VOD International's international department? Not really. Sounds like the soup department handling overseas markets. Edgar leaned back in his chair, laced his fingers together, and completely ignored the terrified, piss-soaked secretary crumpled beside him. To be exact, our diplomatic arm pushes soup militarization programs to governments around the world. But some regions are too messy for money alone to fix. Hillel opened the folder. First page was a satellite photo, Middle East, desert border between Syria and Iraq. A red circle marked the spot. Looked like normal desert on the surface, but thermal imaging showed huge underground structures. The second page was the file. Codename, Sandstorm. Real name, Farid al-Rashid. Age, 41. Nationality, Iraq. Ability, geological manipulation. Could control all soil, rocks, and gravel within a 500-meter radius, turning them into weapons or shields. Also created earthquakes, sandstorms, and shaped underground spaces. Threat level, S. Just from the power description, this guy was seriously strong. Hillel kept reading. The background was pretty interesting. Farid was born in Baghdad in 1983. In 2003, America invaded Iraq. That same year, VOD International's overseas department started a secret project in the Middle East called Desert Shield. 33. Project Desert Storm. The world breaks everyone, and afterward, some are strong at the broken places. Ernest Hemingway. The plan for Project Desert Shield was simple: secretly inject Compound V in the Middle East to create pro-American soup soldiers and protect U.S. interests in the region. VOD calls this upholding justice. Farid was one of the first test subjects. He was only 20 at the time. The experiment worked on him. He gained powerful geokinetic abilities. But VOD underestimated one thing. They figured a 20-year-old kid from the region would fall in line once he had superpowers and become a handy tool for America. They overlooked the obvious. Farid's father died in a U.S. airstrike. His mother got killed in the bloody chaos that followed. Even worse, his two younger brothers were pumped full of Compound V2. The experiments failed, so VOD tossed them out like defective trash. VOD gave him power, but they also handed him a damn good reason to hate them. In 2005, Farid broke free from VOD's grip and vanished into the deserts of the Middle East. For the next 20 years, under the codename Sandstorm, he built a soup terrorist outfit right there in the region. The group specialized in hitting American military bases, blowing up oil pipelines, and taking out politicians who sucked up to the U.S. America sent special forces after him again and again, every time they got their asses handed to them. That was because his underground tunnel network stretched across the whole Syria-Iraq border. Some sections went over 200 meters deep and spread out like a small city. On his home ground, he was a god. Hillel closed the folder. So VOD made a monster, and now you want me to clean up your shit? Edgar's face stayed blank as ever, like the dangerous bastard sitting across from him was no big deal. Your summary is spot on. Farid is one of VOD's fuck-ups, same as all the defective garbage we have stateside. I'm curious. The guy's been running wild for 20 years. Why the sudden urge to deal with him now? Hillel could tell there was more to it. Before, he was just stirring shit in the Middle East. Didn't touch our domestic market, so we didn't give a fuck. But now things are different. Edgar slid a photo out from the bottom of the folder. It was a screenshot from a video. Sandstorm stood in front of some ruins, talking straight to the camera. 3 weeks ago he dropped this video. Said he's bringing the fight to the American mainland. The Pentagon is breathing down our necks. They want VOD to fix this problem. After all, VOD created it in the first place. Hillel leaned back in his chair, already thinking about dumping this mess on Homelander. You could send Homelander. Homelander is a solid pick, but we're building a persona for the Guardian. Taking down terrorists fits perfectly for a hero who stands for justice. Edgar laid out a reason that was hard to shoot down. No, no, no. Hillel shook his head hard. America bringing justice to the Middle East. Don't make me laugh. I won't be your fucking pawn. Edgar had clearly seen this coming. He pushed over another stack of photos. They showed locals killed in gruesome ways. To us, Farid is a terrorist. But he's no saint to the people there either. He doesn't give a shit about civilian lives. Every operation of his leaves a trail of dead innocents. We know this type of soup inside out. They start at the bottom of the pile, then get real power, and suddenly they don't just forget their own kind. They treat the weak even worse. Bottom line, he's a full-blown soup supremacist. A real piece of shit about it. Hillel looked at the photos and cracked a grin. Edgar, you're a natural bullshitter. He scooped up the photos and accepted the job. We'll send helicopters with live cameras. Your heroic moves will give hope to people everywhere, Edgar said. Sounds good. Hillel smashed through Edgar's window and flew straight back to the meeting room from the top floor. Edgar stayed behind alone, taking the full blast of cold wind. His female secretary shivered from the chill that swept in. Hillel knew exactly what was going on. Sure, Edgar wanted him to handle the counterterrorism op, but mostly they were testing his power and how easy he was to control. When you make a product, you check how dangerous it can be. Hillel didn't give a fuck. There were barely any soups in this world who could touch him. Hell, he could use this to boost his public image. Might as well bring Kate and Jordan along this time. You want to drag 2 interns into a counterterrorism mission? Ashley asked, looking concerned. She was scared that if the kids got killed it would fuck up the Guardian's reputation. They need real field experience. I'll keep them safe. Ashley shook her head. Sandstorm has owned the Middle East for 20 years. Vought has sent soups after him before. They all died. Only Homelander ever can pull it off. A notification popped up on his panel. Side quest triggered. Desert Storm. Mission objective. Eliminate the soup terrorist, Sandstorm, Farid al-Rashid. Mission reward. Ability points, 15,000, global reputation boost. Bonus objective. Protect team members Kate Dunlap and Jordan. Bonus reward. Team loyalty boost, ability points, 3,000. The rewards for this trip looked pretty damn good. Hillel pulled out his phone and fired off a message to Kate and Jordan. The Guardian, tighten up, get back here quick. The Guardian, big job incoming. Jordan, is it a big burger this time? The Guardian, sure, we'll grab it and eat it in the Middle East. Kate, Middle East. After the messages went out, the door to Hillel's office got kicked wide open. Jordan and Kate burst in, both buzzing with excitement. We're heading to the Middle East for a mission. A terrorist hunt. The Guardian, you really are a hero for justice. I like you so much I wanna zap everything for you. 10 minutes later, Middle East. Hillel carried one in each hand and dropped down from high altitude straight into the desert. The second Kate and Jordan hit the ground they started puking their guts out. Everything they ate that morning came right back up. Ugh. Only after they emptied their stomachs did the two wipe their mouths and wobble back to their feet. The Guardian, help me, my legs are jelly. Kate grabbed Hillel's arm, eyes spinning. Jordan cleared his throat. Feels like I downed 100 beers and got fucked raw all night. Hillel, Kate, bro's metaphor was something else. Jordan, I swear, every time I think you've hit peak degeneracy you still manage to surprise me. Hillel gave him a thumbs up. His team had officially reached its limit. The fragile Kate, the Jordan who fantasized about getting railed, and the unstoppable him. 34. Kate and Jordan's first real experience. A good teacher does not train you to survive his protection. He trains you to survive without it. The sun in the Middle East was a brutal fucker. At high noon the ground hit over 50 degrees Celsius. Normal people would call it hell, but for a soup it was just enough to work up a light sweat. Hillel scanned the desert ahead with his X-ray vision. 150 meters down sat a massive man-made complex. Tunnels, rooms, warehouses, the whole thing looked like an underground city buried in the sand. At that depth you'd probably need a bunkerbuster nuke to sort out the other side. But one of those cost enough to hire Hillel 10 times over. That's how good his rate is. Hillel crossed his arms and told his two adopted kids, EHM, assistants, targets 150 meters underground, surrounded by a shitload of armed guys and at least 3 soup guards. Now you two go kill the terrorist Farid. I'll wait out here for your signal. It was just Farid, after all. Let the 8,000-a-month kids handle it. Why the hell should he bother? Us. Kill Farid. Kate Dunlap and Jordan looked like he'd asked them to take out Homelander. That's right. Will we die? Trust your powers. You'll be fine. Hillel had total confidence in them. Of course it wasn't because he was lazy. He stretched out on a rock, ignored the scorching sun, pulled his cape over his head, and started snoring. He actually fell asleep. Jordan already regretted signing up for this shit. This was going to be a total disaster. Kate just shrugged. It wasn't impossible, if she could mind control one of the soups inside. So the two of them sucked it up and headed in. Soon a helicopter roared overhead. A VOD International reporter hung halfway out the door in a safety harness and parachute, dangling from a single tether. The cameraman wore the same gear and started rolling live. Quote, "We're broadcasting live from the Iraq border desert in the Middle East. Quote, "As you can see, it's all sand out here. The terrorist Farid that the Guardian is targeting today. Quote, Ahem, quick intro done. Now let's watch how the Guardian takes on Farid." The reporter waved at the cameraman to zoom in. The chopper was low enough for a steady shot. On a stretch of sand and rock stood Hillel in the Guardian's black suit, big V symbol on his chest. He wasn't posing. His whole face was buried under his cape. Look at that. Is this the Guardian's secret ultimate technique? Is he charging up some massive attack to smash Farid when the moment's right? Let's keep watching. Top floor of VOD Tower. Edgar watched the live feed, his mouth twitching like crazy. Madeline, Homelander, and Starlight stood beside him. Does the Guardian actually have a move like this? Because it looks like he's just sleeping to me, Homelander said, rubbing his chin while studying the screen. Hillel always played things close to the chest. There had to be some clever angle here. Starlight listened to him and just covered her face with her hand. Time dragged on. The Guardian didn't move a muscle. Only his cape flapped in the desert wind. Meanwhile, first level of the underground shelter. Jordan took out the two sentries at the entrance while Kate Dunlap hit them with mind control and pulled the layout of the first 3 levels straight from their heads. Then she made them turn around and slaughter their own buddies. A few minutes later 6 militants were sprawled on the ground. Jordan didn't know the meaning of holding back. Anyone who caught their hits was either fucked up bad or straight up dead. Kate only needed a light tap from behind and the guards dropped like puppets with cut strings. They wouldn't be waking up for at least an hour. The two of them had completely opposite fighting styles. "Jordan, doesn't this feel way too quiet?" Kate suddenly whispered. "Yeah, it does." Jordan switched to female form and started charging up glowing energy orbs in both hands. They were now on the 3rd level, moving through a long narrow tunnel with rough rock walls on either side. Exposed cables and ventilation pipes ran overhead. Dim yellow lights glowed every 10 meters. Intel said there were 3 more soup guards, but we haven't seen a single one, Kate said. "Maybe they're deeper down," Jordan replied. "Or maybe." Kate didn't get to finish. Footsteps echoed from around the corner ahead. 3 figures stepped out. One was a bald giant, over 2 meters tall, with bluish-gray skin and muscle so knotted he looked like he'd been mainlining steroids for years. The tall one wore a ragged military uniform. His 10 fingers twitched with insane flexibility, vibrating at ridiculous speeds. Any widow watching would be crying tears of joy. The last one's whole body hummed like a cheap vibrator. What a crew. The bald giant started spitting rapid Arabic, yapping on and on. Kate and Jordan stared blankly. Neither of them had taken Arabic as an elective. The trio didn't give a shit if they understood and attacked anyway. The short one vanished in a blink. Jordan switched to male form and crossed their arms over their head. Too slow. The speed-type soup's fist slammed into their gut with massive force, launching them backward into the tunnel wall and leaving a perfect human-shaped dent. "Jordan." Kate whipped her head around, but caught a flash of red in her peripheral vision. The tall one's fingers lit up and he sprayed a jet of flame straight at her. Kate dove to the floor. The fire screamed overhead and melted the rock wall behind her into glowing red slag. The heat was insane. She lay there feeling the back of her clothes singe from the wave of hot air. Fuck. Jordan ripped themselves out of the wall, blood trickling from the corner of their mouth. That punch had rattled their insides even with soup durability. The speed type blinked back into view, this time going for Kate. Jordan had expected it. They grabbed Kate's arm, yanked her behind them, and threw a punch at the same time. Missed. Normal ability users had a bitch of a time against speedsters. Except CW's Barry Allen, apparently. "I'll try to grab one. You hit him with mind control and we'll make it 3 against 2, Jordan whispered so only Kate could hear. "Okay." Kate nodded. Her power was perfect for infiltration, but in a straight fight she was at a massive disadvantage. Jordan switched to male form and rushed the speed type. The guy dodged left, straight toward Kate. She reached out to touch him but the bastard was too quick. He was already 3 meters away in a flash. "He's too fucking fast. I can't touch him," Kate yelled. Again. Jordan charged once more, but a massive hand clamped down on the back of their neck and lifted them up like a stray kitten. There were more than 3 soups here. No way were they just going to stand around and let these two run their little game. 35. Space was gorgeous, but that guy seemed kinda shy. I am not interested in power for power's sake, but I am interested in power that is moral, that is right and that is good. Martin Luther King Jr. The speed-type soup knocked Kate Dunlap to the ground, but he held back on purpose. Clearly wanted to leave at least one survivor. Up on the surface, Hillel was still sprawled on that same rock, cape draped over his face. The reporter in the helicopter had been bullshitting live for 40 minutes straight. The Guardian is still charging up. We can see his cape fluttering in the wind, which means his energy field is, resonating with nature. The reporter was running out of lies. This was worse than writing school essays. Vought Tower. Edgar stared at the live feed with a deadpan face. Starlight made up some excuse about needing the bathroom and slipped away to call the Guardian. Suddenly, Hillel's snoring cut off. Jordan still has plenty of room to grow. Kate's still too weak. She's better suited for support roles. Hillel opened his eyes. He had been tracking every sound inside the bunker the whole time. Nothing Kate or Jordan did escaped him. Still, soup powers could improve. Both of them were students who hadn't hit their peak yet. They could still grow like Starlight did later on. If Kate awakened long-range telepathy and mind control, her potential would be off the charts. He stood up and brushed the sand off his ass. The reporter in the helicopter perked up instantly. He moved. The Guardian moved. He's standing up. After 43 minutes of charging, the Guardian is finally making his move. Let's see what kind of. Hillel lifted his right foot and stomped down. Just a normal step, casual as crushing an ant. The second his foot hit the ground, everything within 200 meters collapsed at once. Rumble, rumble, dust exploded into the sky. The helicopter shook hard from the shockwave and the cameraman nearly dropped his gear. Fuck, the Guardian, the reporter screamed while clutching the safety rope, all his fake professionalism gone. Once the dust settled a bit, the cameraman steadied the shot. An insane sight filled the frame. A massive crater now sat in the desert, over 200 meters wide. The depth was impossible to see from above. Hillel stood right at the edge, looking down. His X-ray vision had already locked onto every person below. All right then, Hillel jumped in. No flight, pure freefall. He even pushed himself to fall faster. 0.4 seconds later, the Guardian landed 50 meters underground. Jordan was pinned to the ground by the giant while the speed-type soup moved in to knock Kate out. At that exact moment, everything around them froze. Hillel drifted behind the 3 soups like a ghost. Then time snapped back to normal. The fire-type felt the air shift behind him and turned his head on instinct. All he saw was a plain hand, fingers tight together, palm edge aimed at his neck. Viltrumite hand blade. It didn't even look fast. I can dodge that with a simple lean. Haha, sneaky bastard. The soup thought his body had already slipped away. But in that slowed instant he watched his own body, the top half of it, stay standing right where it was. The cut was perfectly clean. Blood hadn't even started spraying yet. SS's. A soft sound hit his ears. Like slicing through tofu. No, exactly like cutting tofu. When did that happen? The fire-type soup's eyes were still open and his mouth could still move, but the flames on his fingers were slowly dying out. The bald giant stood there stunned. He watched his buddy's head roll right up to his feet, brain completely blank. Who the fuck is this guy? He looks kinda familiar. Hillel's X-ray vision scanned the giant's body. Hardened skin. The giant threw a heavy punch. Hillel didn't even bother dodging. Boom. The fist slammed into his chest and the shockwave ripped outward. The air down here smells like ass. Wanna take this outside? Hillel asked the question but clearly didn't give a shit about the answer. He grabbed the giant by the head with one hand and shot straight up. He punched a hole clean through the bunker on the way out. Outside, the reporter and cameraman were filming the massive crater, gushing over the sheer destruction from the Guardian's stomp. Suddenly a loud boom came from behind them. Everyone whipped around and saw a streak of light blast into the sky before vanishing beyond the atmosphere. Hillel carried the giant all the way to the edge of space. One step away from the void. Come to think of it, I haven't fucked around in outer space yet. Hey, that looks like the moon. The giant's face turned purple. Frost covered his body as his tough skin fought against the freezing cold. But the cosmic radiation and vacuum were murder on any soup. His eyes bulged, bloodshot and swollen. Blood leaked from his ears. The second the blood floated out, it froze solid in midair. Looks like you don't enjoy playing outside, what a fucking otaku. Let's head back. Hillel grabbed the giant and hurled him toward Earth at full speed. This move is called the Earth Throw. At Mach 30 the air around them turned into a blazing high-pressure inferno like a meteor. The giant's defense was strong. He lasted over 10 seconds before he melted into ash. Hillel flew back down to the crater. The speed-type soup tried to bolt, but Hillel broke through the surface and landed right in front of him. Bro, with speed like yours you could deliver takeout and make 10 grand a day easy. Why the fuck become a terrorist? Chasing some childhood dream, too bad. When you fuck with the forces of justice you get mandatory therapy. Hillel wagged his finger. The speed-type soup's whole body started vibrating at insane frequencies. He wanted to blitz past Hillel and escape. This trick had always worked before. Even Farid could only catch him by using the terrain. Hillel raised his palm high, waving the guy forward like, go ahead, run. Whoosh. The soup was fast. In Hillel's eyes he was maybe a little quicker than a snail. Hillel's palm came down. It sliced the guy clean from head to crotch. In under a minute the Guardian had wiped out the 3 soups who had given Kate and Jordan such a hard time. The 2 of them stood there with their mouths hanging open wide enough to fit an egg. What about that guy with the hard skin, the giant corpse-looking one? Jordan asked, still shocked. He'd been knocked flat by 1 punch from that bald bastard. Even his male form defense couldn't handle 3 seconds. Yet Hillel had just grabbed the guy by the head and flown off with him. The Guardian must have had trouble breaking through that defense, right? Hillel scratched his head, quote. His defense was pretty average. I thought I could make a wish on a shooting star, but he melted into ash halfway down. Melted? Into ash? What the hell did that mean? Neither Kate nor Jordan got it. We took a quick trip to space. The view was gorgeous, but that guy seemed kinda shy and didn't appreciate my gift, so I let him come back on his own. Yeah, melted into ash. 36. Don't dwell on it. You'll just get depressed. Equality is a lie. People are not born equal. Some are born with greater talent, intelligence, or potential than others. The world is not fair, and pretending it is only weakens those who believe the lie. Kiyotaka Ayanokoji paraphrased. Wait here. Wait. Kate chased after him a few steps. Farid is still down there. His power is geological manipulation. The whole bunker is his weapon. Don't forget I'm the one who dragged you 2 along on this mission. I already know exactly what the enemy can do. Then why are you going down alone? Hillel looked back at her like she was an idiot. Just stay put. Daddy's going down to handle some business and I'll come pick you up soon. With that he kicked off the ground and dropped straight into the darkness. His figure vanished in seconds. Kate and Jordan stood there. He definitely thinks we're dead weight, Kate said. First day on the job and they had already fucked up big time for their boss, right? We really are weak as shit, Jordan muttered, sliding down the wall and holding their gut. In male form Jordan packed several tons of strength, but punching that bald giant felt like tickling him. Meanwhile the Guardian had just yeeted the guy into space. This gap. Jordan closed their eyes. Kate shook her head. Don't dwell on it, you'll just get depressed. 150 meters underground. Hillel smashed through several layers of rock and reached the deepest part of the shelter. The place was a massive domed chamber, 30 meters high and hundreds of meters wide. It looked like a natural underground cathedral. The rock walls around him were polished smooth as mirrors, every surface covered in the marks of Farid's power. In the center stood a man. Behind him loomed a giant statue of some deity, one hand holding up the sky, the other stretched across its chest. Farid, 41 years old, wore a dusty yellow robe. His face was worn and weathered. The ground under his feet shifted slightly. If you looked close, his feet weren't even touching the gravel. He was hovering just above it. You from Vought? Farid stood with his hands behind his back, trying to look like a big deal. Real showman type, huh? How does it feel to come all the way here, just to step in front of your death? Farid said, his voice carrying that thick accent. Farid, codename Sandstorm. 2003 soup with geological manipulation. You're practically an old-timer, Hillel said. Nobody was bothering you, why the sudden urge to fuck with everyone? Farid answered, for justice. Hillel pulled some photos from his pocket and tossed them on the ground. All civilians caught in the crossfire. This is your justice. Since when does justice mean slaughtering civilians and running terrorist attacks? Farid said, for the greater good, these are necessary sacrifices. In the heaven God created, they have been freed from suffering and will live happily. The Guardian, I know who you are. You call yourself the symbol of justice. You should understand that sometimes justice requires certain sacrifices. Hillel tilted his head. Times really have changed. Even terrorists want to lecture me about justice. Wait, no, I'm not playing a hero who listens to the villain's monologue and tries to reason with him. I'm guest starring as the final boss for this cannon fodder. Yeah, alright Boomer, enough with the bullshit. I need to take your head back to finish the job. By the way, next time fix your sewage system. The smell down here is fucking layered. Hillel brushed dust off his suit. There wasn't any real dust. His biofield kept it all off, but the stench was unbearable. Then you should already know that on my turf, nobody can beat me. Farid raised one hand. The entire domed chamber started shaking. The rock walls, floor, and ceiling all came alive at once. Countless stone spikes erupted from every direction, packed tight like a giant beast opening its mouth full of teeth. These spikes all pointed straight at Hillel. Over the past 20 years, Farid's voice boomed from every direction, like the rock walls themselves were talking. The military has come after me 3 times. Each time with special forces and air support. Ha ha ha, they all died. How much stronger do you think you are than them, coming down here alone? Hillel counted the spikes covering the walls. There were thousands of them, each one thick as an arm with tips sharp as spears. If they all fired at once, anything alive in this space would get shredded into a bloody sieve. Clap, 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 impressive, really fucking spectacular. You remind me of a manga character. Have you ever watched One Piece? Hillel praised him sincerely. He honestly hadn't expected to run into a real-life version of someone who could control sand like crocodile. This kind of power would probably rate level 4 at the X-Mansion. Farid didn't waste time talking. He thrust both hands forward and thousands of rock spikes shot out at the same time. The speed was impossible to react to. Coming from every angle, they sealed off every escape route. Not even a fly could slip through. He knew the guy in front of him was tough. The man had wiped out 3 of his soup guards in under a minute. Even by VOT standards that was heightier. But Farid had mobilized the entire rock structure of the underground city, turning everything within 500 meters into a weapon. There was no way to lose. VOT tower. On the live broadcast the cameraman kept the shot locked on the 200-meter crater. A deep rumbling like thunder rolled up from underground. The whole desert trembled slightly. Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like an intense battle is raging underground. The reporter got their shit together again. The Guardian has gone deep into the bunker to fight the super terrorist. You can feel the vibrations under our feet. The pilot helpfully shook the helicopter hard. Quote. Extremely violent tremors. This shows the fight down there is on a scale we can barely imagine. Edgar watched the screen with zero expression. Hillel's strength was way beyond what he had expected. He thought the guy was maybe on Homelander's level, but now, he glanced. All Homelander could think about was how high his own popularity would be if he was the one down there right now. 150 meters underground. Thousands of rock spikes slammed toward Hillel from every side. The corner of Farid's mouth curled up. This should turn you into red mist, right? Hillel just stood there and yawned. I want lasagna tonight. No idea where to even get it in New York. Tomato pasta is fucking garbage. He thought to himself. The spikes hit his body and shattered like cheap chocolate sticks. Every single rock spike that touched him never even reached his actual skin. They smashed into the biofield around him and turned to powder instantly. What made Viltrumites truly scary was their physical body. But here was some asshole who couldn't even tear his clothes talking about killing him. What a cringy, arrogant prick. Can anyone relate? The spikes crumbled into dust and rained down with a soft rustling sound. Farid's face went from calm to shocked, then from shocked to straight-up disbelief. A whole fucking pie chart of emotions. No. Impossible, how strong are you? Oh, don't dwell on it, you'll just get depressed. 37. The Guardian. The symbol of justice. So, you got any more moves? My lower back's been sore lately. Mind helping me loosen it up? Hillel brushed the stone dust off his force field, turned around, and stuck his big ass out. Farid ground his teeth. Impossible. The underground rock layers were made of insanely tough material. How the hell could they not even scratch his skin? Absolutely impossible. Farid waved his hands again. The entire wall closed in from all sides at once, like a giant clenching its fist, trying to squash Hillel into a meat patty. The space kept shrinking. 10 meters. 5 meters. 3 meters. Hillel got trapped inside a smaller and smaller rock cage. Farid's face twisted with rage. Pulling this off took everything he had. Veins popped on his forehead and blood started leaking from his nose. He pushed with every rock layer he could control in a 500-meter radius. The pressure from this attack beat the water pressure at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. It was enough to crush diamonds into dust. Crack, crack. Farid suddenly froze. Hillel just stood in the middle of the stone walls and spread his arms. With that simple move the rock walls couldn't advance even half an inch. Your turn's over. Now it's mine. Hillel put a little strength into his hands. Boom. The rock cage exploded from the inside. Debris shot everywhere like a bomb going off in a tight space. Farid, standing too close, got blasted by the shockwave and slammed hard into the dome's rock wall. He slid down, hit the ground, and coughed up a mouthful of blood. That hit had fucked up his internal organs bad. Hillel hovered there, arm muscles flexed. Not a single wrinkle on his clothes. Farid pushed himself up off the ground, blood still dripping from his mouth. A hint of real fear crept into his shocked eyes. What kind of power is this? Bahahaha. Good. Good. Farid's laughter rang through the enclosed space. Since I can't kill you. He spread his arms wide. Then let's die here together. The whole underground city started shaking. Chunks of the dome rained down non-stop as the unsustainable structure began collapsing piece by piece. On the surface, a drilling rig toppled with a roar. Sand dunes rolled like ocean waves. Kate Dunlap and Jordan Lee had just pulled back to the entrance when the building behind them came crashing down. The reporter in the helicopter sensed shit was going wrong. The ground under them was twisting and writhing. An earthquake. It's a fucking earthquake. The reporter screamed. The cameraman's lens caught the nightmare. Kilometers of desert surface rolled like waves in a storm while cracks spider webbed across the ground. Everyone evacuate. Get out now. The helicopter started climbing fast. Such vibrations easily kicked up a sandstorm, putting the helicopter in real danger of crashing. What a terrifying aftermath. Was this what Farid was truly capable of? I'm afraid the Guardian this time. Viewers watching the live stream all covered their mouths in shock. A nightmare landscape like this could easily become any soup's grave. Was America's symbol of justice, the mighty eagle the Guardian, about to die here? Even a hot young woman with 36D breasts couldn't help but close her eyes. 150 meters underground. Farid stood in the center of the dome, arms spread wide like some kind of martyr. The giant statue behind him collapsed with a roar. Blood leaked from his nose, ears, and the corners of his eyes. This was the price of pushing his powers way too far. Do you think I plan on running? No matter who wins or loses today, I want you all to see exactly what kind of power the God's true followers really have. Farid roared. Hillel raised his right hand, fingers pressed tight together. Still the same overpowered hand blade. He took one step forward and instantly covered 30 meters, appearing right in front of Farid. Farid's eyes widened. That hand blade looked so slow. As long as he dodged just a little. Just a bit, he could easily. Bro thought he had dodged it, but his brain was just replaying the best moments of his life. Farid's body split clean down the middle. A perfect straight cut from the top of his head to his crotch. The extreme speed cauterized the blood vessels instantly. Farid dropped to the ground, eyes still wide open. Put to sleep. The contracting tunnel stopped shrinking, but the underground structure was already wrecked. The whole bunker started collapsing as Hillel shot upward. He didn't need to find an exit. His body was a living drill, and with a quick blast of omega beams he punched straight through to the surface. Kate Dunlap and Jordan Lee had already made it topside. The desert under their feet had stopped writhing. Cold sweat covered their foreheads. Did that mean the Guardian's fight was over? So who won? You two, step back a bit. Hillel's voice suddenly came from behind them. The Guardian, how are you not dead? Jordan's impulsive words made Hillel lose his cool right there. Kid, I'm not trying to kill your dreams, but you definitely won't be running for president in this lifetime. Kate looked thrilled. Since you're here, that means Farid. Yeah, he wanted to go to heaven, so I directly sent him to God. A look of pure fanaticism spread across both Kate and Jordan's faces. My boss is so fucking awesome. With all that insane chaos they thought the apocalypse was here, yet the Guardian didn't even have a scratch on him. Mighty as hell, the helicopter climbed to a safe height, but the telephoto lens stayed locked on Hillel. The global live stream kept rolling. This time the reporter didn't dare say a word. In her earlier panic she had accidentally yelled, "Fuck," at the Guardian. Hillel hovered in the air. Below him stretched the torn-up desert. Farid's hideout probably had a big weapons cache. Edgar wouldn't want any loose ends, so Hillel might as well wipe it all out at once. Hillel's eyes flared with crimson light. Omega beams. The beams didn't shoot straight. They zigzagged forward, way thicker than anything Homelander could fire, and slammed into the desert floor. Boom. First layer, second layer, third layer. They tore 200 meters straight down. The rock melted into magma from the heat while metal supports vaporized on contact. Boom, boom. Explosions roared from underground as the massive stockpile of explosives Farid had hoarded went off from the heat. A giant crater formed in the middle of the desert, growing wider by the second. Hillel turned his head and swept the beams across the entire sanctuary network. South to north, east to west, like slicing a fucking cake. Every underground space within a 1-kilometer radius got completely pierced by the Omega beams. Sand and dust blasted into the sky. In the helicopter. The reporter was speechless. The cameraman kept filming on pure instinct. This footage was about to become one of the most insane images in human history. One man used energy beams to erase an entire underground city. Could anything be crazier than that? Next to the Guardian, Homelander looked like a total weakling. 38. Girls, you are the real heroes. Our fathers were our models for God. If our fathers bailed, what does that tell you about God? Tyler Durden, we do not talk about it XD. Kate stood close by, her voice shaking. Jordan stood next to her, legs starting to give out. Jordan. Kate reached out and grabbed them. In female form, tears poured down Jordan's face uncontrollably. This is so fucking magnificent. Kate, I want the Guardian. Kate Dunlap. ... The beams kept going for several minutes before Hillel finally cut the power. He hovered slowly at the edge of the massive crater. His cold figure stood with his back to the endless desert, cape flapping in the wind, the big V emblem shining. The setting sun hit him just right, making him look like a goddamn god. Hillel turned around slowly. The red glow in his eyes faded away. He looked straight at the camera and spoke calmly. Mission accomplished. Farid is dead and the terrorist base is completely wiped out. I am the Guardian. I am not a partner of justice. I am justice itself. ... Vought Tower. Homelander's face was nowhere near as calm as before. Hillel had stolen the show way too hard this time. Homelander could already picture the hero's welcome waiting for the Guardian back home. Public approval would skyrocket past his own overnight. The spotlight on the 7 had been completely hijacked by one guy. And he wasn't even in the 7. Starlight couldn't get through to Hillel on the phone. When she got back to the office she saw the live feed of his Omega beams turning the entire terrorist bunker into slag. Fuck Jesus. Annie January blurted out without thinking. Edgar turned around and quietly bumped the Guardian's internal threat rating from A up to SSS. Everyone knew Homelander was only rated A. Edgar's female secretary pissed herself again. She really deserved to die. How the hell had she dared to boss the Guardian around? ... Meanwhile, the Pentagon. Satellite footage was rushed straight to the National Security Advisor's desk. The video matched Vought's live broadcast, but the satellite view made it even more brutal, capturing the whole thing from start to finish. Hillel stomped, shattering the surface. The Omega beams melting the entire underground city. Deep inside the White House the president watched the same footage. Where the hell did the Middle East get nuclear weapons? Did the Russians smuggle them in illegally? Sir, listen, quick, set up a press conference. We need to strongly condemn this. The Secretary of Defense's throat felt dry. He swallowed hard before speaking. Sir, that wasn't a nuke. It was a soup. The president. The look on the president's face screamed, are you fucking kidding me? Was it Homelander from Vought? Get Edgar on the phone right now. What the hell is he playing at? I told him to kill Farid. I wanted it done quietly, not like this giant fucking spectacle. The president was pissed. What was Edgar trying to pull? Flexing on him? Did the guy not want to stay in America anymore? Mr. President, you've got it wrong. It wasn't Homelander who did this. The Secretary of Defense wiped sweat from his forehead. Not Homelander. The president caught up a second later. Did VOD release some new third-generation soups? I'm not sure, but the one who caused all this is a soup called the Guardian. The Secretary of Defense played the second half of the footage. On screen a black figure hovered at the edge of the massive crater. He turned around slowly, red glow still burning in his eyes like two destructive stars. His destructive power. According to initial estimates, the Secretary of Defense opened the report, the energy output of this attack is more than 30 times that of a GBU-57 bunker buster bomb. The GBU-57 is our strongest conventional bunker buster. It can penetrate 60 meters of reinforced concrete. This guy used heat vision to go 200 meters through solid rock and melted the entire underground space across a 1-kilometer radius. With sustained output for several minutes. If he aimed this kind of power at a city. The Secretary of Defense didn't finish the sentence, but everyone in the Situation Room got the message loud and clear. The president leaned back in his chair. Get Edgar on the line. On Hillel's side, a notification popped up on the panel. Side mission completed. Desert Storm. Eliminated target. Sandstorm S-Class. Eliminated subsidiary targets. Soup guards ×3. Mission reward. Ability points. Plus 15,000. Bonus objective completed. Team members Kate Dunlap and Jordan survived safely. Bonus reward. Ability points. Plus 3,000. Global live broadcast bonus. Audience emotional climax plus 21 plus 69 plus 67 plus 18 plus 43 plus. Bonus ability points combined. 8,600. Key character. Kate, emotional shift, faith. Ability points gained. Plus 4,892. Key character. Jordan, emotional shift, absolute submission. Ability points gained. Plus 4,107. Current ability points. 55,055 250,000ths. Hillel looked at the panel. One quick trip to the Middle East and he had bagged nearly 50,000 ability points. On the way back, Kate Dunlap hugged Hillel's arm tight, rubbing against it softly. Jordan did the same in their female form. But Hillel had zero interest. Viltrumites liked strong women, even a Thraxan queen would do. But there was no way they were into an intersex person. The Guardian, Jordan called out over the wind. I want to crash at your place tonight. Staying with Starlight works too. Hillel's face went full black lines. Say one more word and I'll drop you right here so you can turn to ash on the way down. Jordan shut up immediately. Kate didn't even dare bring it up. She was a soup, sure, but her body wasn't nearly as tough as Jordan's. She would die. She would definitely die. 1 minute later. Vought Tower rooftop helipad. The three of them landed smoothly. Homelander was already waiting there. The second Hillel touched down, Homelander grabbed his shoulders with fake enthusiasm. Haha, that was awesome, buddy, you completely stole the show today. Homelander was full of shit. But he knew Hillel wasn't someone he could easily push around, so he showed a certain level of respect. Jealous as hell, but respectful. Homelander. Even Homelander came to greet us personally. Jordan and Kate were losing their minds with excitement. Their idol back in school had been the Seven. Seeing Homelander in person now had them hyped beyond words. Oh, the Guardian's little helpers are actually my fans. Homelander's attention shifted back to the two of them. Yeah, we're huge fans. Can we get a picture together? We haven't even taken one with the Guardian yet. Haven't taken one with the Guardian yet. Hearing that made Homelander's jealousy ease up a lot. Looks like even the Guardian doesn't have universal appeal. Even though the Guardian is strong, the fact that you two had the guts to face a soup way stronger than you is already impressive. You girls are the real heroes. Because real heroes step up to the challenge. 39. How am I supposed to spin this? You are not your job. You are not how much money you have in the bank. You are not the car you drive. You are not the contents of your wallet. You are not your fucking khakis. You are not a beautiful and unique snowflake. You are the all-singing, all-dancing crap of the world. Tyler Durden. On the day they got back to the Midtown apartment, Starlight was wearing her sexy costume to welcome Hillel. The second the door opened, Kate's jaw hit the floor. In her eyes, Starlight was America's sweetheart, pure and sweet. She never expected her to be this bold in private. Starlight quickly wrapped her cape around herself and shot Hillel a glare. Why the hell did you bring this blonde chick back again? Annie, Kate's just visiting. You don't have to roll out the red carpet. Hillel said, looking a little awkward. It wasn't that a threesome was off the table, but with both girls rocking the same hair color some aesthetic fatigue was bound to kick in. Mr. Guardian, I'll head out. You two have fun. Kate bolted like she was escaping a fire. Starlight was probably really strong too. After all, a woman without some serious durability probably couldn't handle a soup at the Guardian's level. Damn, unimaginable. Absolutely unimaginable. The door barely clicked shut before Starlight dropped the cape and stalked toward Hillel like a predator. The tight, sexy version of her Starlight costume hugged every curve. Cleavage pushed up perfectly, the fabric clinging to her toned waist and flaring over her firm ass. The gold accents gleamed under the apartment lights. Bolting like that Kate girl knows what's better for her. She grabbed the front of his shirt and yanked him down into a fierce kiss. Hillel grinned against her mouth, hands immediately sliding down to grip her ass. Jealous, Starlight. Shut up. She bit his lower lip, wild and emotional, pushing him back toward the bedroom. Why would I be jealous? I'm the one who gets to fuck you, after all. Damn, that look is hot. In one smooth motion, Hillel lifted her, hands under her thighs, and carried her to the bed. The look in your eyes is making my blood go wild. He tossed her down and climbed on top, his godlike body caging her as he pinned her wrists above her head. You sure you can handle my wild side? Annie arched up, rubbing herself against the hard bulge in his pants. Yeah, as I said, I want you. Now. After going through all those emotional stages when she learned that Hillel was going to confront an S-class soup terrorist, and after seeing the live feed of him scorching the earth with his heat beams, Annie was feeling a little wild, too. Hillel pushed the two wide strings of her top that were not doing a good job of hiding her pale breasts, exposing her perky nipples. He attacked them hungrily, licking, sucking, and gently biting one nipple while his hand kneaded the other. Ha! Annie moaned loudly, legs wrapping around his waist, pulling him closer. The lights in the room flickered as her powers surged with her rising lust. He released her wrists only to flip her onto her stomach. He yanked the slutty costume down, exposing her toned ass and those long, strong legs. Smack, jiggle, smack, jiggle, jiggle. Hillel gave her big ass a couple of light, stinging spanks that made her gasp and push back against him. Damn. The giggle physics of this thing is crazy. What? The symbol of justice is an ass man. Annie giggled and playfully wobbled her ass. Faaaaa. This wild Annie too much. I'm gonna get a nosebleed. Ha, that's it, I'm gonna breed you today. He hastily positioned his cock behind her and thrust in deep in one smooth stroke. Oh fuck, Annie cried out in pleasure, gripping the sheets as he filled her completely. Pa, 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 pa. The pace was hard and claiming. Deep, powerful strokes that made her toned body shake. Watery sounds of skin slapping skin filled the room along with her moans. Ha, slow down a little. Oh, Hillel leaned down, one hand reaching around to play with her breasts while the other gripped her hip. He kissed and bit along her neck and shoulder, never slowing down. Hey, no can do, I'm gonna pound you till you see stars. That day the whole building had another power outage. This time it took out half the street. The electrician was completely lost. Get a gypsy in here to check this place. Your building is cursed as hell. More than a dozen fuses blown this month. Gotta be evil spirits. Don't scare me like that, I just saw The Conjuring last night. Hey, don't forget to call a priest too. The electrician swapped the fuses and tripped on his way out. He crossed himself immediately. Fuck, Annabelle, don't come near me. In the name of the Lord, be gone. Hey, stop shouting, you just stepped on a banana peel. Meanwhile, Hillel, I feel like my powers have gotten way stronger lately. Think I can even fly now, Starlight said. Really, you gotta practice this shit. The more you do it, the stronger you get. Starlight's body kept getting tougher with every session. Even though she got a fresh experience every time, it didn't give any extra ability points. Hillel wondered if he should come up with some new tricks for Kate. Ability points were just too tempting. Who wouldn't want to evolve into a super version of themselves? The two of them didn't pass out until the early hours. Not long after, Ashley's call came through. Mr. Guardian, at 2 this afternoon Vought has set up an exclusive interview. CNN's top host is flying in just for you. Why the fuck are they targeting me? Send me the files, I'll make her disappear. Ashley double-checked her call log to make sure she had dialed the Guardian and not Homelander. She was getting the feeling that as the Guardian kept showing off his power, he was slowly turning into Homelander 2.0. Before he called himself a partner of justice. Yesterday he went full, I am justice itself. There was a huge difference between those two lines. People were already attacking his statement from yesterday, calling it iron-fisted tyranny. Even worse than Homelander. Hillel had no clue about any of that. He just felt like the spot under his nose had been itchy lately, like hair was about to sprout. The Guardian, you misunderstood. It's not targeting you, it's an exclusive interview just for you, Ashley corrected herself. Oh, got it. Hillel scratched his head. He wasn't sure if he was still half asleep or if his bloodline upgrade had made him too Viltrumite. Their culture wasn't exactly known for being deep. Not going. This was personally approved by Edgar. Fuck Edgar. Tell him exactly what I said. Hillel hung up. His head had barely hit the pillow when he called Ashley back. Ashley, you got a boyfriend? Huh. Ashley touched her temple. How the hell did the Guardian jump topics that fast? Oh, never mind. Forget I asked. Hillel hung up. Annie's eyes on the other side of the pillow were sparkling as she stared right at him, like she'd picked up on a keyword. Ha, you had a wild look, but now you look so cute like this. Let's go for another round. Hillel pulled her close. No, I'm exhausted. Burn that little universe of yours. Push past your limits. I believe in you. Plus Ultra. After this battle, Starlight had learned her lesson completely. On the other side, Ashley hung up, sat in her chair, rubbed her legs, bit her lip, and picked the phone up again. Eddie, we're done. Don't contact me anymore. Why are we breaking up? Because you're a fucking sissy. Don't come to VOD looking for me. I'm scared the Guardian will get the wrong idea. Ashley put the phone down and let out a long sigh of relief. If it was the Guardian, she could totally accept it. He was one of the strongest supes in the world, and even Edgar didn't dare fuck with him. That kind of man was 1,000 times better than the loser she had at home. 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Hillel headed back to VOD. Edgar was really going all out. He had bumped Hillel's pay up 10 times, put him in charge of promoting the Soup Felony Processing Unit, and worked things out with the White House so Hillel could run cross-border operations wherever American troops were stationed. At the same time, he set up massive publicity, making sure every move the Guardian made got pushed to every American citizen and the rest of the world. VOD Tower first floor studio. Lights, cameras, and teleprompters were all set. CNN's ace host Jessica was already sitting in the host chair. She was one of the highest-rated news anchors in the country. She'd interviewed 3 presidents, 2 Nobel Peace Prize winners, and countless celebrities and politicians. But today her palms were sweating like crazy. This wasn't some celebrity or politician. She was about to interview a soup whose heat vision alone packed the punch of a nuke. She was damn near pissing herself. Still, if she nailed this interview, her career would hit a whole new level. When Hillel walked into the studio, the entire crew, including the host, stood up to greet him. They only sat down after he casually took his seat. Ah, the Guardian, it's an honor to interview you, sir. You're too kind. Hillel sat back, legs crossed. Jessica settled into her chair. The live broadcast started. The Guardian, first of all, congratulations on successfully eliminating the terrorist Farid. The whole world is talking about yesterday's footage. Can you tell us how you felt during the fight? Farid's toilet wasn't built very well. Jessica froze for a second. What the hell did the toilet have to do with anything? I mean your feelings during the battle. Facing an S-class soup terrorist, did you feel any pressure? Oh, none, not even a little. No, it was just a hand blade. Nothing complicated. Jessica's smile froze. This wasn't going according to script. Normally you were supposed to talk about how tough the fight was, how you traded blows back and forth, how the opponent had you on the ropes for a while. Then at the critical moment when you were about to lose, you think of your family, you think of the American people cheering you on, your duty to protect freedom, and then you power up and finish the guy. You weren't supposed to sound so casual either. You should shed a few tears, show that even an Iron Man has a soft side. How the fuck am I supposed to spin this? 40. I think Homelander is like a candle. Don't try so hard to fit in, and certainly don't try so hard to be different. Just try hard to be you. Zendaya. The host forced the conversation in a different direction. We all saw how you used heat vision to blast through the bunker and melt everything within a 1-kilometer radius. Can you control how strong it is? It's called Omega beams, and yeah, I can adjust the power whenever I want. So how much power did you actually use to destroy Farid's bunker? Hillel thought about it for a second, then held up 3 fingers. About 30%. Surprise flashed across Jessica's face. 30%. That attack that melted the ground had only used 30% of his power. If the Guardian went all out, Jessica didn't even want to picture it. She quickly changed topics again. The Guardian, we noticed you brought 2 young team members with you on this mission. Can you tell us about them? Those are Kate and Jordan, interns I personally recruited from Godolkin University. Interns? You took interns on a counterterrorism op. Yeah, couldn't just leave them watching SpongeBob in the office, could I? The interview barely lasted 10 minutes. Just as Jessica was about to throw some tough questions at him, the door opened. Homelander walked in, full suit up, big bright smile, perfect white teeth. He looked like a walking American flag. Hey, I'm not late, am I? Homelander strode over to the couch area and plopped down right next to Hillel. The host and crew were all stunned. This was supposed to be the Guardian's exclusive interview. Homelander wasn't supposed to be here. Hillel wasn't surprised at all. Honestly, nothing Homelander did would surprise him anymore. As a pro, Jessica adjusted fast. Oh, everyone give a big round of applause for Homelander. Welcome to the interview. Thanks, Jessica, right. Haha, I heard you were talking to my good brother, so I figured I'd drop by and show some support. Homelander threw an arm around Hillel's shoulder, grinning like an idiot. After all, the Guardian is part of the Big Vought family. Hillel glanced at him. The guy had basically shoved him out of the frame. He was here to ride the coattails. A panel popped up. Key character. Homelander, current emotions, jealousy, resentment, desire for attention. Ability points gained, plus 156. So Homelander, what do you think of the Guardian's performance yesterday? Jessica asked, not afraid to stir the pot and poke right at Homelander's sore spot. Oh, that was simply amazing. Homelander gave a big thumbs up. The Guardian is one of the most powerful soups I've ever seen. His performance yesterday showed the whole world exactly how strong Vought really is. As his good friend, I'm proud of him. Homelander's smile was flawless and his tone sounded completely sincere. If it wasn't for the panel showing his real emotions, Hillel might have actually bought it. Jessica nodded and turned to Hillel. The Guardian, your relationship with Homelander. Mr. Homelander, could you move over a bit? A young cameraman holding the camera frowned. You're blocking my shot of the Guardian. Cameraman, danger. The whole studio went dead silent. Everyone stared at the kid. Homelander kept smiling, but everyone could see he was embarrassed as hell. It was obvious to everyone that Homelander was trying to ride the hype and steal some of the Guardian's spotlight. Nobody dared say it out loud. Except this clueless kid. Key character. Homelander, sudden emotional shift, jealousy, anger, humiliation, killing intent. Ability points gained, plus 892. PFF'd. Gotta control my laugh. Deep breath, phew. Farming Homelander's emotions really is the best. Homelander recovered quickly, pretending he hadn't noticed, and apologized to everyone. Oh, of course, sorry, I didn't mean to steal the Guardian's spotlight. I was just so happy for him. Sorry. The smile stayed perfect. But Homelander's heart rate had already jumped to 116 beats per minute. No need to guess, that cameraman wouldn't have a job much longer. Jessica, Hillel suddenly spoke up, I think there's something that needs clearing up. The host wiped cold sweat from her forehead and tried to stay calm. You go ahead. Yesterday's mission wasn't all my credit. Jessica raised an eyebrow. Homelander's gloomy mood got interrupted. He turned to look at Hillel. This Middle East mission was originally supposed to go to Homelander. With Homelander's strength, taking care of Farid would have been no problem at all. Hillel smiled at the camera, but Homelander gave the opportunity to me. A weird look crossed Homelander's face. A giant question mark floated over his head. Did that happen? He hadn't even heard about this mission. Edgar had set it up directly and cut him out. But Hillel's acting was on another level. Homelander once told me, the Guardian, you're still new and need a chance to prove yourself. You take this mission, I'll have your back from here. Hillel looked completely sincere, selling it so well that even Homelander almost believed it had actually happened. The camera instantly zoomed in on Homelander. The global broadcast filled the screen with his face. At Vought headquarters, Edgar turned off the TV with a blank face. He had deliberately put the Guardian in the spotlight and even handpicked the reporters just to make Homelander jealous of Hillel and drive a wedge between them. And yet this Guardian was arrogant and full of himself in private, but suddenly turned into an Oscar-level actor in front of the camera. Are you fucking cheating? Haha, that's right. Homelander leaned back on the sofa and threw his arm around Hillel's shoulder. I did say that. The Guardian is new and needs chances. As the big brother of the team, it's my job to look after the rookies. This time Homelander's smile was real. The Guardian is fucking awesome. This is a real brother. When one eats good, we all eat good. A panel popped up. Key character. Homelander, emotional change, satisfaction, surprise, respect. Ability points gained. Plus 445. Hillel kept stacking the prize pool. And it's not just this time. At VOT, Homelander is always looking out for me and others. He's like the big brother of the team, always giving opportunities to others and taking the hard stuff on himself. Honestly, I think Homelander is like a candle. Jessica played along. A candle, why do you say that? Because he burns himself to give light to others. Hillel patted Homelander's shoulder. He shares his light with all of us, letting us stand in the spotlight while he supports the whole team from the back. Homelander has bled and fought for VOT. He is the soul of VOT. VOT shines because of Homelander. Homelander is the only true hero of VOT. After he finished, Hillel started clapping first. The studio staff looked moved too and jumped to their feet to applaud. As a veteran host with years of experience, Jessica squeezed out 2 perfect tears. Homelander, what do you think of the Guardian's take on you? Homelander sat on the sofa, barely able to hide how thrilled he was. The whole world was watching this live, and every word the Guardian just said had put him right in the center of attention. That's right, he really was the greatest hero of VOT. 41. Manipulation. It's called character growth. The world isn't perfect, but it's there for us, trying the best it can. That's what makes it so damn beautiful. Roy Mustang, Fullmetal Alchemist, Brotherhood. The interview wrapped up and the crew started packing the equipment. Homelander waited patiently outside the door until Hillel came out. The Guardian, my good brother, thanks so much for what you did in there. Homelander sounded genuinely grateful. He had tried to ride the Guardian's hype and almost got embarrassed by that cameraman. Hillel not only saved him but accidentally boosted his image too. In his eyes, Hillel was now a real friend. Hillel looked completely unfazed. Small thing. It's nothing. Homelander lowered his voice. What you said earlier, about me giving you the opportunity. I know that wasn't true, so why? How is it not true? Hillel stopped walking and corrected him. Think about it. You're VOT's face. You get first pick on every mission. If you had wanted the Middle East job, nobody could have stopped you. You didn't go, so doesn't that mean you gave it to me? Homelander paused. Is that how it works? He didn't go, so the Guardian got the chance to run the mission. And that led to this massive win. Looking at the result, he really had given it up. However, Hillel pulled Homelander into a quiet corner and whispered, this interview wasn't as simple as it looked. Homelander looked confused. What's complicated about it? It was just a normal interview, right? No. You're being too naive. Hillel looked dead serious. Do you know why Edgar specifically sent me on the mission and set up this solo interview? There's a lot going on behind the scenes. Can't explain it in a couple sentences. But one thing is clear. He's targeting you. Homelander's brow twitched. Targeting me? Me? Why? I'm doing my job just fine. See, you said it yourself, Hillel pointed out. It's exactly because you're doing so well that you've basically become VOT's whole brand. Your shine is covering up everyone else. That's not good for rolling out new products. It makes VOT's image too one-note. Guys running multi-billion-dollar companies naturally like to be in control. They don't like getting controlled. So Edgar is pushing me up to push your spotlight down. Think about it. Haven't there been signs lately? Hillel's logic sounded solid. Homelander thought it over and realized it really did add up. When a train's drug shit got exposed and hurt his representative, what did VOT do? They buried the negative stories. Then there was the deep. Madeline stopped him from holding that press conference to kick those 2 assholes out. In the end the Starlight video leaked and he took the blame instead. Now Edgar assigns missions and skips him completely, letting the Guardian hog all the glory. Put it all together and the pattern was obvious. Homelander's heart rate started climbing. And that's not even the worst part. The scary thing is they're planning a full switcheroo. Hillel kept feeding the fire. What's a switcheroo? Homelander asked, right on cue. Hillel explained, it's a simple swap. Capital can't control you, but they can't give up your commercial value either. So they use this method to transfer all the exposure, traffic, and public support that used to belong to you over to me. Once the public gets used to the new face, they'll start thinking Vought's brand doesn't have to be Homelander anymore. The Guardian works just fine too. Hillel shrugged. Of course, I'm just a replacement. When they can't control me either, they'll pull the same trick to take me down. Homelander stood there frozen. Once his brain started spinning, it wouldn't stop. No, no, no. This can't be right. How can they do this to me? Me. I am the Homelander. I am Vought's brand. I am the strongest soup on Earth. Key character. Homelander, emotional change, alert, angry, resentful. Ability points gained. Plus 1,834. Nice. The big one hit. So that's why you said all that on the show. Homelander realized. Of course, we're good homies. They think they can mess with us using cheap tricks like this. Fucking naive, Hillel said. Thanks, bro. Homelander's eyes got a little wet. Homelander was genuinely touched. But this can't keep happening. Hillel kept pushing while the iron was hot. Homelander seemed to catch the look in his eyes and shook his head fast. Oh, bro, no, no, you want to kill Edgar. He's Vought's boss. Hillel looked disgusted. Homelander, have you ever asked yourself why you, the strongest soup in the world, have to take orders from a regular human? Even when that human is just using you, playing you, and will throw you away the second you're no longer useful. Because he is. That's right, Edgar is just a normal guy. Why the hell am I scared of him deep down? Homelander suddenly got it. You finally see it. This is what I wanted to tell you. All the soups Vought makes are clearly stronger than Edgar, so why do you fear him? Because while you were growing up they deliberately trained your mind to make you scared of him at the core. You can't go against his decisions. Almost there, time to take a certain line from JJK. It shouldn't be like this. We're not Edgar's slaves. We're the humans of the new world. Homelander's whole worldview looked like it was cracking. He, the most popular soup in America, had been psychologically conditioned since he was a kid. This was impossible. This was absolutely fucking impossible. And now the final nail. Do you know why even Madeline can control you? I won't say more. You can look into it yourself. After pouring enough gas on the fire, Hillel stepped back and quietly watched Homelander lose his shit. In the original story Homelander figured this out slowly. Now Hillel was speeding the whole process up. A monster that would make all of America tremble was starting right here. I don't believe it. I'm going to find Madeline and Edgar. Homelander smashed through the glass and shot into the sky. Hillel shook his head. Homelander's mentality was still pretty immature. Even if he flew over and asked, did he really think they'd admit it? That's right, you're just a defective product. Edgar stood by the window, looking at Homelander with pure contempt. You were designed from birth and you'll serve Vought until you die. Maybe to the people of America, you're some all-powerful soup. But to me, to Vought, you're nothing. Now get back to your post. You can only come in when I call you. Edgar didn't even flinch. Facing the strongest soup in the face of Earth, his expression never changed. 42. Who else could it be? Me. Forgive, O Lord, my little jokes on thee. And I'll forgive thy great big one on me. Robert Frost. 9 o'clock at night, Midtown apartment. Starlight had just stepped out of the shower, hair still wet. She was wearing one of Hillel's black t-shirts. The hem barely covered the top of her thighs. Want to wash up? I learned some new moves. Oh, now you've got my attention, woman. Hillel tossed the remote aside, floated up from the couch, and drifted straight toward her. He had been trying to quit walking lately. Starlight took a step back until her back hit the hallway wall. What are you doing? My hair isn't even dry yet. No need to dry it. Hillel planted one hand on the wall above her head while the other grabbed her chin and tilted it up. Starlight's breathing picked up fast. You're always like this. No foreplay, no build-up at all. You don't like it, quote. Ahem. Actually it's not bad. Hillel leaned in. Knock, knock knock. Fine. Whatever new positions you've learned, we can take it up to the clouds next time. Nobody will bother us there. Hillel went to open the door. He had already recognized the knocking pattern. Who is it? Starlight whispered. Hillel's face looked weird. Homelander. Starlight's expression changed instantly. Nobody at Vought knew the two of them were living together. If Ashley or Edgar found out, they would get a serious warning. If Hillel knew what she was thinking, he would probably roll his eyes. He could fuck whoever the hell he wanted now and nobody could stop him. Why? The Guardian said so. Go wait in the bedroom. We might need to talk. Starlight didn't argue. She ran barefoot into the bedroom and closed the door quietly. Outside, Homelander was still in full suit. Ever since Hillel joined VOD, he had never seen the guy in normal clothes. This time though, he was carrying a bottle of wine. 2008 Dom Perignon. Hey, bro, Homelander smiled, but it looked forced. It was his first time showing up at a friend's place like this. Especially after using his X-ray vision and catching the two of them right before they started. But right now he needed comfort more than anything. I didn't call ahead, hope you don't mind. Hillel glanced at the champagne bottle. He had to admit the whole situation looked fucking weird no matter how you sliced it. Come on in. Homelander set the champagne down and spoke seriously. I wanted to make this visit a bit more formal since it's my first time at your place. Skip the formal shit between us. You look like you're in a bad mood. Want a drink? Hillel picked up the champagne bottle. Homelander didn't smoke, drink, or do drugs. Compared to other soups, he was basically a saint. But he wasn't in the mood for milk right now. Sure. Hillel floated to the kitchen, grabbed 2 glasses, then stood shoulder to shoulder with Homelander by the floor-to-ceiling window, staring out at the view. You're right, I can't go against Edgar. But it's not because I'm a coward. I still need him for now. As Homelander spoke, the corners of his mouth kept twitching. He looked like a kid who just got yelled at by his dad and could only whine to his buddy. As long as you're happy. Hillel took a sip and frowned. He was a brute who couldn't appreciate the good stuff. This shit didn't even taste good. I took the guy who did my weekly psych sessions, you might not know him, his name was Dr. Vogel, and I welded him to his chair. Homelander casually dropped the murder like it was nothing. Just last week he had killed a mayor who claimed to know about Compound V and tried to blackmail Ashley into dropping the price of soup supplied to his city to $200 million a year. To keep the truth about Compound V buried, he had shot down the plane carrying the mayor and his grandkids. No one in the 7 could swim anymore, so nobody could recover the evidence from the ocean. It wasn't just that psychologist lying to you. Hillel thought about what secret he could drop next. I hate people who play games with me. They'll all pay one by one. Homelander's fingers tightened and fine cracks spread across the glass. But you're different. He suddenly looked at Hillel. You're the first person who told me the truth. You, my brother, pulled me out of the mud. Hillel held his wine glass. If Homelander knew he was actually the biggest liar of them all, the kid would probably lose his mind right here. The panel popped up. Key character. Homelander, current emotions, grateful, trusting, desiring recognition, slightly dependent. Ability points gained, plus 678. You didn't just come here to talk about psych problems, did you? Hillel asked suddenly. Homelander's emotions hadn't shifted much, which meant he hadn't taken it too seriously. He had another reason for showing up. Sometimes I think you've got telepathy too. Homelander squeezed Hillel's left shoulder. You know about that bill Vought has been pushing lately? The one the president shot down 3 times. The one Ashley can't get through. Hillel raised an eyebrow. He actually knew exactly which bill Homelander was talking about. The Soup Enlistment Bill. In the original series, this bill was Vought's first big move to get into the military, and it definitely didn't go smoothly at the start. Especially after the recent soup incident in the Middle East, the president was already suspicious that Vought was pulling strings behind the scenes, trying to use it as an excuse to control America. Congress hadn't passed it either. The military brass had their own entrenched interests and weren't about to let Vought get a piece of that pie. Soup soldiers. That was a massive fucking market. Homelander's voice dripped with disdain. Those congressmen are just a bunch of cowards. They're scared we'll take their cake. Hillel suddenly realized Homelander was treating him like his personal strategist. So you want the bill to pass smoothly so you can prove yourself? Exactly. Homelander smiled. That was exactly why he had come looking for Hillel. About this, got any ideas, Creek? Hillel and Homelander both turned around at the same time. The bedroom door was cracked open. Starlight was eavesdropping. Don't worry about her, she's on our side. Hillel didn't give a shit. Homelander nodded. Starlight living with the Guardian was basically leverage. Even if he spilled his plan here, she wouldn't dare leak it. If, let's say, a bunch of major soup threats suddenly popped up all over the world. So many that even the regular military couldn't handle them. Do you think Congress would still say no? Homelander laid out his crazy plan. Not bad. Hillel nodded in approval. Homelander wasn't stupid, he was just mentally unstable as hell. It's just I can't find the right guy for the job. Who do you think would be perfect for this? Homelander looked at Hillel, waiting for his answer. Hillel smiled slightly. He finally got it. Homelander wanted him to do the dirty work. One second they were buddies, the next he was throwing him under the bus. As long as the Guardian actually did it, Homelander would have leverage and wouldn't have to worry about him stepping out of line. Nice. Real nice. That's simple. Who do you think can run all over the world in no time, inject Compound V into terrorists, and leave zero evidence? Hillel asked with a smile. Homelander pulled his lips back into a grin, teeth flashing white. Yeah, who could it be? Of course it's A-Train. Who else could it be? Me. 43. Hidden achievement, the mastermind. The only ones who truly understand the world are those who have seen its darkness. Ionokoji. A-Train. Homelander suddenly clapped his hands. That's right, how the hell did he forget about him? Yeah, sorry, I was being too narrow-minded just now. Homelander apologized over and over. A-Train really was the perfect pick. He had already been kicked out of the Seven and was sitting on the bench, but even a discarded piece could still be used to the fullest. If he just loosened up a little and hinted there was a chance for A-Train to come back, wouldn't the guy work himself to death for him? That's right, bro, A-Train is perfect for this. We stay behind the scenes as the masterminds. Let someone else handle the dirty, tiring shit. Even if A-Train can't do it, there's still Shockwave. Didn't Shockwave brag about wanting a train spot? He can handle this too. Once it's done we just dump his body in the ocean. Facts proved the Guardian had a much darker heart than Homelander. Homelander raised an eyebrow. This reminded him of something. Don't tell anyone about this, Homelander said quietly. I only told you because I trust you. But you just tried to make me do the dirty work. That's pretty hurtful, Hillel said with a fake smile. My bad, brother, I can make it up to you. Homelander gestured for Hillel to name his price. He was Vought's biggest star. There was nothing he couldn't arrange. Before, Ashley was pushing Supes to the top brass. The annual stability payments were hundreds of millions, right? Yeah, a bundled contract for a Secondtire Supe starts at $300 million a year. Hillel put both hands on Homelander's shoulders like he was giving him a massage. In reality he was testing him. Homelander wasn't used to other people touching him, but right now he didn't resist at all. Very good. In that case, as one of the top 5 most popular Supes in America, isn't it a bit ridiculous that I'm only getting tens of millions a year? Homelander nodded. It really was ridiculous. The Guardian's salary should start at $1 billion. You and I will go ask Edgar together. With me backing you, there's a good chance it'll work. No. Hillel shook his head. What is my status and what is his? Do I still need to beg him? Wouldn't that be like kneeling for scraps? Homelander looked confused. But only Edgar has the final say on salaries. Hillel fired up his Omega beams and used them to shave Homelander's growing stubble beard. I have this. Can I stand tall and get paid what I'm worth? I guess so. Homelander couldn't figure out why Hillel wasn't scared of Edgar. Why he even looked down on the man who held everyone's life and death in his hands. Don't be so vague, Homelander. You are the god of Vought. In the future you'll be the god of all America. Hesitating like this doesn't suit a man. Hillel punched Homelander's shoulder. The hit only made Homelander sway a little, but it lit a fire in the ambition buried deep inside him. I am a god. Yes, look at our power. We can fly. We have heat vision. We can boil an entire ocean. Does Jesus have shit like that? Hey, don't say that. How can we compare ourselves to Jesus? Homelander looked around nervously and quickly covered Hillel's mouth. You're just too scared. Now, he turned water into wine. What a useless superpower. A real god should make them cower, right? Don't talk like that. I'll go ask for you, okay? Homelander was genuinely freaked out. America was a religious country. If people found out he and the Guardian were talking shit about God here, he figured the whole country wouldn't forgive them. Good. Don't lose face. Go have a showdown with Edgar. Seeing his goal achieved, Hillel gave him some encouragement. The panel went crazy. Key character Homelander, emotional climax, trust extremely high ambition, desire for control, dependency. Ability points gained, plus 3,456. Hidden achievement unlocked, the mastermind. Successfully guided a key character to make a decision that changes the landscape of the world. Bonus reward. Ability points, plus 5,000. Current ability points, 72,659 250,000ths. Oh yeah, that's settled then. I'll go see Edgar tomorrow. You go talk to A-Train. Sound good? Fine. Homelander's suggestion was exactly what Hillel wanted. He still wasn't sure if A-Train had learned his lesson yet. Homelander left. Hillel honestly felt like Homelander was pretty easy to get along with. His lifestyle was solid, he didn't fuck around. Sure, 8 years ago, he forced the diabolical bastard's wife. He didn't smoke, didn't do weed, didn't touch drugs. Compared to other soups, he was basically a living saint. He only killed the occasional capitalist or politician. Yeah, Homelander was a sunny, cheerful good boy. That's right. That's how it was. The bedroom door opened. Starlight poked her head out. He's gone. What you two were talking about? I caught some of it. He really wants to inject Compound V into terrorists just to push that bill. Starlight looked nervous. And you actually said, turn water into wine. What a useless superpower, earlier. You're committing blasphemy, you damn heretic. Hillel looked shocked. Oh, girl, don't think that I don't know what you talk about in your youth guidance tents. Does God know about this lady's wild side in bed? Starlight bit her lower lip, hooked her finger in Hillel's belt, and dragged him toward the bedroom. The more of Hillel's dark side she saw, the harder it was for her to pull away. She knew this was wrong, but she just couldn't bring herself to hate him. Want it? Annie put on a weak little expression but yanked her shirt up. How long does it take a human to get undressed? Hillel's answer was 0.03 seconds. But, we should talk first. Starlight pushed Hillel against the wall. A crack spider webbed across the white surface behind him. The rough play between soups was always insane to normal people. This isn't right, we're supposed to be superheroes. We should be doing good deeds for the public. Hillel's eyes kept drifting downward. Is this how you do good deeds? This is definitely wrong, but do you think we can stop Homelander, America's #1 soup? Hillel pinned her hands back and slammed her against the wall. The force felt like nothing more than a light touch to her. You're the guardian, he sees you as a friend. He'll listen to you. Annie turned her head. Is that so? Not necessarily. Homelander has his own mind. He won't be easily swayed. I can only play along with him and try to limit the damage to innocent people. Hillel's hips were working extra hard today. Ha, I only heard you giving him advice and even throwing A-Train under the bus. That guy may have fucked up, but he shouldn't become some dark tool. Annie glanced at Hillel. He was clearly doing it on purpose so she couldn't finish her sentence. The reason for picking A-Train is because he still has some sense of boundaries, and getting kicked out of the 7 is only temporary. Hillel said. What does that even mean? It means everything else can be fake, but my feelings for you are real. Just remember that. Hillel's shirt ripped. 44. I've got $1 billion deal about to fall through. In the end, it's not the years in your life that count. It's the life in your years. Abraham Lincoln. Ah, yes, UG. Hillel had only been pounding Annie for 2 hours now. Seeing her go limp, he smirked. All right, take some time to catch your breath. Hillel quickly dressed up and flew out of the window. He stopped 3 mugging attempts, 1 robbery, helped an old lady cross the road, saved 3 people from a burning building, took a car accident survivor to the hospital, and helped a kitty come down a tree. All the while, making sure that bystanders recorded it. Swoosh. All right, I'm back, let's continue. Pa, and started pounding Annie for another hour. As for Annie, she had already thrown every question out the window and was completely focused on the battle in front of her. Oh fuck, at this rate, I don't think I'll be able to walk. But don't stop, harder. Pa, but right then Hillel's phone started ringing. Musical note 3 got this feeling, yeah, you know, where I'm losing all control. 'Cause there's magic in my bones, musical note. He picked up. Busy. Do not disturb. Beep. Annie wasn't comfortable on her back so she flipped over onto her stomach. Ah, that's right, squeeze those walls, grip it tight. A few seconds later the phone rang again. I'm gonna see you. Musical note 3 got this feeling, yeah, you know. Fuck it, if it's about the electricity, call me later. And if you are a scammer from Bangladesh, I'll personally visit you, alright? Hillel answered. Starlight barely caught her breath. The Guardian, I know reproduction is important for human civilization and that burst of heat produces a lot of high-energy protein, but right now we need some serious torque. The caller was someone Hillel didn't expect. Queen Maeve. Your way with words is like an adult bicycle. I'm balls deep right now and about to explode. You get that? Faint screams came from Maeve's side, mixed with Homelander trying to calm people down. From his tone you could tell he was barely holding back his laser eyes. The two of them seemed to be on some rescue mission. There's a job that needs you to make a trip, Queen Maeve cut to the point. Does it pay? You'll get the gratitude of nearly 200 people plus my personal friendship. Not enough. I've got $1 billion deal about to fall through. I don't have time to chat. Hillel hung up. Starlight pressed her hand on his shoulder, golden light flickering in her eyes. Maeve doesn't call for nothing. It must be serious. I already told you, $1 billion business. Less than 2 seconds later the phone rang again. Hillel was about to turn it off when he saw it was Homelander and picked up. Hey, bro, help me out. No way, Homelander. I haven't seen you for a few hours and you're already this pathetic. You are the fucking Homelander. What problem could you possibly not solve? Hillel was still in the mood to joke, but Homelander on the other end sounded like he was about to lose his shit. Get over here quick. We're on a plane and terrorists have hijacked it. Are these terrorists all soups on average to have the balls to hijack your plane? Queen Maeve's voice cut in next to Homelander. Cut the bullshit and get here. There are kids on board. If you save them, I'll do anything you want. Hillel's eyes lit up. Oh, the plane incident from season 1. Alright, Hillel leapt off the apartment balcony. A sonic boom exploded behind him as he shot up to 30,000 meters in seconds. At Mach 30 it took him less than 20 seconds to lock onto the target. A Boeing 767 was dropping fast toward the Atlantic. The left engine was completely dead. The right one was belching black smoke and barely hanging on. The cockpit nose had been sliced open and the instrument panel was trashed. One look and you knew it was Homelander's work. The whole fuselage was shaking violently. Hillel slowed down, hovered beside the plane, and used X-ray vision to check inside. 137 passengers were in total panic. Most were curled up in their seats. 2 terrorist corpses lay in first class. A rescue that should have been easy as shit had been turned into this mess by Homelander. Homelander and Queen Maeve stood together. Maeve wanted him to lift the plane, but Homelander had no leverage in the air. Unlike Hillel, he didn't have a biofield, so one wrong move and he'd punch straight through the fuselage like it was tofu. The wind howled. Hillel tore open the cockpit door like a god and slipped inside. He turned around and welded the door back into place. The move was pointless, but he liked showing off. The Guardian, you're here. Homelander looked genuinely happy to see him. Queen Maeve breathed a sigh of relief. With both of them working together they should be able to save this plane. What's the situation? Hillel asked. The controls are fucked, engines are wrecked. This thing is basically scrap metal now, Queen Maeve said quickly. Hillel glanced at her. What was it you said on the phone earlier? Queen Maeve paused. You said you'd do anything, right? You said that. Queen Maeve's face twisted. Homelander looked awkward too. Is this really the time to talk about that? Of course it is. What if I misheard? Say it again. Homelander jumped in fast. Hey brother, you might not know but we used to date for a while and, you know, plus don't you have Starlight? Hillel told Homelander to go calm the passengers, then crossed his arms and stared at Queen Maeve. She gritted her teeth. The plane was still dropping fast. Altitude down to 6,000 feet. 2 little girls inside the cabin were watching them. Yes, anything. Now hurry up and save the people. That's what you said. Hillel smiled. Then he flew out through the hole in the cockpit. Homelander leaned closer. You really agreed to give it to him? Queen Maeve snorted. You two are cut from the same cloth. Neither of you is any good. Hillel flew straight under the plane, adjusted his position, and expanded his biofield outward from his body. The whole aircraft got covered. The falling speed started to slow. Hillel felt like he was holding up a leaf. The little girl by the window pressed against the porthole and saw the black figure underneath casually holding up the entire plane. Oh my god, something even Homelander couldn't do, the Guardian was handling like it was nothing. More and more passengers crowded against the windows to look. Queen Maeve and Homelander did the same. Didn't you say you couldn't lift it? Why can he? Homelander looked confused. I don't know. Logically at this angle he should have punched straight through the fuselage. Bullshit, Queen Maeve muttered. Really, you think I haven't tried? My strength easily goes through a fighter jet. I have no idea how he does it. Homelander felt wrongly accused. If he'd known he would have just let the damn plane crash and saved himself from Maeve thinking he wasn't trying hard enough. The Guardian, it's the Guardian, someone yelled. Then the whole plane erupted in cheers. At least they weren't all just screaming, thank God. 137 passengers in the cabin, emotional outburst, gratitude, worship, the ecstasy of surviving a disaster. Ability points gained, plus 12,847. Key character Homelander, emotional change, shock, inferiority, jealousy, slight, relief, brother is strong. Ability points gained, plus 3,934. Key character Queen Maeve, emotional change, shock, admiration, relief, anxiety about the promise. Ability points gained, plus 3,567. 45. A kiss with the Queen. Never regret thy fall, O Icarus of the fearless flight. For the greatest tragedy of them all is never to feel the burning light. Oscar Wilde. Hillel held up the plane and slowly changed direction. JFK International Airport. He reached it in 3 minutes. He kept a steady speed so the passengers inside wouldn't get shaken around and smeared across the cabin walls. The runway at JFK was already lined with fire trucks and ambulances. The control tower kept trying to contact the plane. Hillel gently set the aircraft down on the runway until it rolled to a full stop. Deafening cheers exploded inside the cabin again. The Guardian, the Guardian, the Guardian. Hillel flew out from under the plane and hovered beside the fuselage. Reporters on the ground went crazy with their cameras. The flashes were almost blinding the passengers. The system panel kept flashing. Global media exposure bonus. Event popularity times 3.7. The Guardian lifts a passenger plane to a safe landing single-handedly. Global trending number 1. Ability points gained, plus 18,200. Total ability points gained from this event, plus 32,548. Current ability points, 111,207 250,000. Not bad, already halfway to the next level. After the plane stopped completely, the cabin door got kicked open. A bunch of people collapsed the second they got out, kissing the ground. Some sprawled out like starfish or just lay there flat. Homelander and Maeve followed the crowd out. As soon as Homelander landed, reporters swarmed him. Homelander, can you tell us what happened up there? Did you save the plane? The Guardian was there too. Were you working together? Homelander flashed his perfect smile. Of course, this was a team effort. The Guardian is my good brother. We worked together perfectly. But what we saw was the Guardian holding the plane up alone. Homelander's temple started throbbing. He silently noted which network the reporter worked for. That's because I was inside the cabin protecting the passengers and making sure nobody got hurt. We just had different jobs. Oh, I see. Then may I ask? The reporters kept hounding him. Hillel and Maeve stood off to the side, not trying to steal the spotlight. 2 little girls ran over to thank Maeve. From the look on her face, she really did enjoy being a superhero. Thanks to you I get to ride your coattails and boost my approval rating big time. Maeve's numbers had been dropping lately. Vought always had Homelander bring Maeve along. Appearing together helped their ratings. But honestly Homelander's image had taken hits too recently. First the Seven kicked out 2 members and as leader he caught a lot of flack. Then there was the whole riding the Guardian's coattails thing. That really fucked his representative. Together their numbers were dropping instead of climbing. Do you really give a shit about your approval rating? Hillel shook his head like he didn't buy it. There were only 2 decent people in the Seven, Annie and Maeve. If you counted A-Train after he eventually woke up, maybe 3. What else is there? I represent female empowerment. If my ratings keep tanking I'll end up as a washed-up third-rate hero. Maeve crossed her arms and watched Homelander soak up the camera flashes, looking a bit tired. I heard you've been living with Annie January lately. Maeve asked casually. Yeah, don't hurt her. Seeing you two reminds me of my old self, Maeve said. Maeve remembered when she first joined the Seven. She was full of hope and dreams about being a real hero. Vought smashed that pretty quick. Then came Homelander. They dated for a while, but eventually Maeve realized he was just a monster wearing human skin. He didn't give a shit about human lives. He only cared about his public image. If she hadn't called the Guardian, Homelander had been ready to ditch the plane. And there were kids on board. What kind of person lets children die just to protect their reputation? Don't try to see your past self in other people. No matter what happened before, you can start a new life. Maeve was silent for a moment when Hillel's next words pulled her back from her thoughts. By the way, do you like going to the beach? Huh, is it Beastmaster? Huh, elephant or cat? What the fuck are you talking about? Maeve looked him up and down with a weird expression. Hillel thought to himself, Maeve doesn't like sunbathing on the beach. It's Beastmaster. Neither. Purple has its own charm. Alright, smile. Hillel put his arm around Maeve's shoulder and suddenly flashed his signature smile. Don't think too much. The reporters are taking pictures of us. ... The interview wrapped up. Homelander faced the cameras and put on a tearful performance. The whole thing was just him pushing Vought's latest bill. If the military would share data and recruit soups into the army, they could respond faster instead of only showing up at the last second to save the day. You have to remember there were over 100 lives on that plane, including children. His acting was so good even Hillel had to give him a thumbs up. Oscar worthy, bro, yeah, take me away, I don't want to stay here anymore. Right now, Maeve didn't want to spend a single second more where she could see Homelander's face. The two of them left the airport. Homelander just glanced at their backs and kept bragging to the reporters about his heroic deeds. Let them fuck, whatever. Bros mattered more than women anyway. Besides, the guy had the balls to hit on Maeve right in front of him. He really wasn't scared of him. He looked at him as a person. Where else was he going to find a brother like that? ... Hillel flew with Maeve for a while before landing in a quiet place in Lower Manhattan. The place was deserted. Maeve crossed her arms, looking badass. I told you to take me home. Why the hell did you bring me here? Hillel looked her up and down. Maeve was damn fine. Mature, athletic, that sharp, confident beauty that made her stand out even among soups. Annie was sweet and bright, but Maeve had fire. And he was very interested in playing with that fire. Fucking Homelander had somehow turned a woman like that gay. Hillel felt it was his duty to turn her straight again. He just wasn't gonna say it out loud because no matter how powerful he got, he didn't want to fight those bull-haired feminists' comments. That shit scared him. What are you staring at? Maeve knew he had X-ray vision, but instead of cowering, she confidently straightened her posture with a quirky smile. She was a proud feminist, there was nothing to be ashamed of her body. Just looking at you. You done? Is there any material that blocks your X-ray vision? I'm thinking of getting some for my next suit. Maeve gave him her signature challenging look. Oh, hey, don't get the wrong idea. I'm not translucent or Homelander. I'm not that much of a pervert. Hillel defended his honor. I'm looking at you, trying to figure out how someone like you ended up wasting time with the wrong kind of people for so long. Maeve raised an eyebrow, but she didn't step back. If anything, she shifted her weight, studying him right back. She was a strong and independent woman, and after no one in the plane died, she was feeling much better. By the way, you've got some balls hitting on me right after playing hero with Homelander watching. Hey, Hillel stepped closer, voice dropping into a teasing tone. He and I are good friends, but I don't need to ask anyone's permission to talk to a beautiful woman. Especially one who looks like she could use some actual fun instead of Vought's scripted bullshit. Maeve let out a short laugh, half amused, half challenging. Careful, Guardian, I'm not some newly joined clueless girl like Annie, nor a starstruck fan who's gonna melt just because you lifted a plane. Oh, I know, he said, bracing one hand against the wall beside her head, not trapping her, just close enough. That's what makes it interesting. You've got that fire, I like it. He cupped her chin lightly, giving her plenty of time to pull away. Maeve didn't. Instead, her sharp eyes softened just a fraction, curiosity and something warmer flickering there. She'd spent years around monsters wearing capes. This cocky, overpowered bastard was different, dangerous in his own way, but at least honest and kind of goofy. I get it, you want to find out if I'm interested in you, huh? She murmured, teasing back. I'm not here to find out anything, Hillel said, leaning in slowly. I'm just here to give you a teaser for what the rest of your days can be, if you are with someone who isn't afraid to show you a teaser. Maeve quirked her eyebrow. That line was impressive. But before she could think of a sarcastic remark, their lips met. 3 minutes later, a little blood trickled from the corner of Hillel's mouth. He licked it casually. Damn, that kiss was. Maves was still trying to act badass, but her breathing was heavy. Ha, I'm not some sweet girl next door, buddy. Huff, ha, you wanted to play with a dangerous girl, you're gonna get a little rot treatment. She wiped the blood from her lips. The boss lady had a wild side. She wasn't an easy catch. Hey, I'll collect on that favor you owe me slowly. Hillel shot up into the sky. Left behind, Maeve gently touched her chest, eyes full of complicated emotions. Truthfully, the Guardian is way more overbearing than Homelander. 46. Hillel, a train, report back to Vought tomorrow. I wish I could throw off the thoughts which poison my happiness, and yet I take a kind of pleasure in indulging them. Frédéric Chopin, key character Maeve, emotional changes, shy, shocked, curious, both diamond suit. Ability points gained, plus 8,567, current ability points, 119,774 250 thousandths. Oh ho, kissing Maeve gives this many points, or is it just that messing with a high-class, badass woman pays better? The next day, Hillel went to find A Train early in the morning. He was curious where the guy had been making his money lately. After leaving the 7, A Train got a fat settlement, so he should have been living easy. But it looked like things weren't going great. Brooklyn, a rundown apartment building. Hillel stood in the hallway staring at the chipped paint on the door. The smell of cheap perfume and weed leaked through the cracks. Hillel knocked politely. Who the fuck is knocking? A sharp female voice yelled. Popclaw opened the door wearing a loose camisole. Her eyes were sunken, hair a mess, but her body was still killer. Popclaw. Weak powers, third-rate actress, hoping to go public with A Train. Now she was just living off his cash. When she saw it was Hillel, her pupils shrank. The Guardian. I'm here for A Train. Wait. This smell is fucking nasty. Weed in, is that cum? You two really have nothing better to do. Popclaw stepped aside. Hillel floated in. The place was tiny, one bedroom and a living room, littered with takeout boxes and empty liquor bottles. On the coffee table sat some leftover, protein powder, and a small bag. With X-ray vision he spotted vials of blue liquid inside. Compound V. A single permanent injection went for 20 million on the street, even more on the black market. Looked like A Train had blown years of savings on this shit. On the living room couch A Train was sprawled out, lost in some drugged-up fantasy. In his head he was back in the 7 as the leader. Even Homelander was kissing his ass and that damn Guardian was only good enough to lick his joystick. Until a light cough came from above. Looks like you've been living pretty good since you left the 7, huh? A familiar voice, familiar tone. Fuck off. A Train didn't give a shit. In his own dream why the hell would he let himself get bullied by this guy? Hillel looked at Popclaw with interest. Behind her on the wall hung her own, artistic, photos. Right now she looked terrified. Hey, A Train, wake the fuck up. The Guardian is here to see you. Popclaw shook her boyfriend, but A Train acted like he couldn't hear her. Lick my toes, fuck the Guardian. Where's your bathroom? Hillel asked. Inside. Popclaw was so nervous her camisole had slipped down to her navel. Hillel had already seen everything worth seeing. He couldn't get interested in a junkie. Hillel wrapped a force field around a basin of water and dumped it straight on A Train's face. Fuck. A Train jolted awake, a nasty stench rolling off his body. What the fuck is this smell? Popclaw, where'd you get this water? Hillel floated in the air, pinching his nose. From the toilet, obviously. You two even left some leftovers. Real classy eaters. Hearing Hillel's voice, A Train froze. His face turned to pure terror. The Guardian. That's right, Daddy's home. Hillel nodded. A Train instinctively stepped back but accidentally sped up and slammed into the wall. What are you here for? I've already left the 7. I got nothing to do with you guys anymore. Oh, talking like that makes Daddy real sad. Hillel floated toward him. Kicking you out of the 7 was supposed to be a test. I didn't expect you to still be such a hopeless piece of trash. Drugs, fucking around, being depressed. That wasn't even the worst part. A Train's body was in terrible shape right now. His blood was thick like jelly and his heart was fucked. Even if he never used his powers again he wouldn't have a good ending. What did you say? I still have a chance to get back into the 7. A Train looked like he'd grabbed a lifeline. Joy exploded across his face. But Hillel just stared at him without saying a word. A-Train immediately caught on and slapped himself twice. I'm sorry sir, I wasn't in my right mind. I actually dared to make sir lick my joystick. I was wrong. I'll never do drugs again. As long as you let me back into the 7, I'll do anything. Popclaw watched from the side, not shocked but happy. A-Train had a chance to return to the 7. That meant she could ride the wave too. Her traffic would explode and she'd make a comeback in the industry. Yes, yes, yes. A-Train knows he fucked up, sir. Please forgive him. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Hillel shook his head, looking completely disgusted. Look at you, the fastest speedster in America. In your prime even Homelander would have had trouble catching you. Now you've sunk to doing drugs with a third-rate actress. Your promises don't mean shit. Popclaw's face went white. I remember A-Train used to be a bright, cheerful kid. When the hell did he turn into this? It couldn't be that after meeting Popclaw he got dragged into bad habits and fell this far, right? The second Hillel finished speaking, A-Train's confused face suddenly cleared up. He nodded like he was trying to hammer nails. Yes, yes, yes. It's all Popclaw's fault. I came from a poor family. My dad ran off when I was young and my mom raised me and my brother alone. After I grew up I worked hard and studied to bring beautiful blessings to the world. Later I met Popclaw and that's how I ended up like this. Sir, you have to save me. You're the only one in the world who can. Hillel grinned. Hey, this kid isn't stupid. He knows how to climb the ladder. As they talked Popclaw's face turned paler and paler. It wasn't like that. A-Train was already a regular at the soup clubs. He was already a junkie. It wasn't her fault. He's slandering me. He's slandering me. But one look from Hillel and she shut her mouth. This was the Guardian, the terrifying bastard whose heat vision could vaporize bunkers in the Middle East. Who the fuck would dare act up in front of him? Clean yourselves up, you two pieces of trash who only know how to fuck from morning till night. I've got a mission for you. A-Train, report back to Vought tomorrow. Hillel used a force field to grab a towel from the bathroom and threw it in A-Train's face. He seemed to sense something and glanced instinctively at a camera. Holy shit, oi, who the fuck can tell me why the Guardian showed up here? And A-Train was actually kicked out of the 7 by him. Not Homelander. 47. I know where your wife is. The only way out of the labyrinth of suffering is to forgive. John Green. Inside a white van parked one street over, Huey's hands hovered over the keyboard, pupils shaking slightly. On the screen, that one glance from the Guardian looked like it had pierced straight through the camera and locked onto them sitting behind the monitors. Oi, Huey, don't panic. He was probably just looking toward the smoke detector. Even though Frenchie said it, his voice was barely above a whisper, like he was scared of being heard by super hearing. Right, it must be a coincidence. Mother's Milk nodded fast. Butcher shoved a cigarette butt in his mouth and spoke firmly. Pack it up. What, right now? Huey turned his head. Are you deaf? I said retreat. Butcher was already yanking power cords from the surveillance gear. Take the video copies, wipe every hard drive, and tear down the antennas too. This van needs to be cleaner than a church after baptism, got it? Nobody argued with Butcher. The group jumped into action. Frenchie and Huey tore down the equipment while Mother's Milk opened the van door and hopped out, pretending to check the tires as his eyes scanned the street. The Guardian has super hearing, but from our last run-in he shouldn't have X-ray vision, Frenchie said. Bullshit, Butcher cursed. The CIA's files are worthless. They don't even know how fast Homelander can fly, so what makes you think they know shit about the Guardian? Didn't you watch that live stream? The guy's laser eyes blasted apart a bunker in the Middle East. He definitely has X-ray vision. Frenchie figured he had a point. Huey was still clinging to hope. He probably didn't spot us. Otherwise we wouldn't still be standing here. I'm more interested in what he said. Kicking A-Train out of the 7, it was actually him calling the shots, not Homelander the team leader. We've been wrong about the Guardian this whole time, Mother's Milk said. They had always figured the Guardian was just Homelander's lapdog. But now it looked like this dog had already grown stronger than its master. Fuck, Butcher cursed. This guy is way harder to deal with than Homelander. Vought probably made him specifically to keep Homelander in check. His danger level is way higher. Huey pulled out the USB and started wiping the hard drives. It's a shame we didn't get the Compound V. What now? No choice. We'll find another angle. The Guardian will definitely be watching A-Train now. No point taking stupid risks. Butcher decided. He was the craziest one in the group, but even he felt completely powerless against the Guardian. No helping it, the guy was just too strong. Knock, knock knock. Someone was knocking on the van door. All four of them froze. Open up, it's pretty cold out here. Well, not that I feel it. A lazy voice came from outside. The people inside felt like they'd been dropped into an ice bath. Rip, seeming impatient from waiting, the door got ripped clean off from the outside. Against the light, a figure floated cross-legged outside the door, looking over the four people inside the van. Yo, pretty lively in here. The inside of the van was covered in dismantled gear, antennas, cables, metal rings, and the USB still in Huey's hand. Joey's pipe repair. Hillel glanced at the lettering on the side of the van. Your pipe repair equipment is pretty advanced. Directional antennas and real-time monitoring. Agent-level plumbers. Nobody dared speak. Come on, man, it was a Ben 10 joke. Wait, do you guys have Ben 10? Quote. The four of them were nailed in place. The other three slowly reached for their waists, like those little toys could actually comfort them. Huey turned completely gray, like a character from a comic book. Come on, man, I saved you and your girlfriend. Is there any need to be this scared? I'm a good guy. Boys, don't be nervous. This guy's a friend. Butcher grinned and signaled Mothers Milk and Frenchie to put their weapons away. Even a full set of assault rifles would barely be enough to pick this man's teeth. Hillel's gaze landed on the USB drive in Huey's hand. Give me that thing. Huey's hand shook a little as he looked at Butcher. Butcher stayed stone-faced and gave one short nod. Good boy, that's more like it. Hillel took the USB drive and melted it with his Omega beams. He didn't care that Butcher was monitoring a train. He didn't care that Butcher wanted to use Compound V's secrets to take down Vought. It was just bad luck that he dropped by at exactly the wrong time. You got the USB. What else do you want? I'm game. Butcher chewed on his cigar butt. Sorry, not interested in men. Hillel wasn't interested. This group was way too much testosterone. It seems you're more cautious about your image than Homelander. Are you just scared the Compound V leak will hurt your reputation? If so, we can work together. How about that as an exchange? No matter the situation, Butcher always tried to keep the upper hand. Hillel stayed completely indifferent. I'm not interested. Compound V means nothing to me. As for you guys, I've never shown any hostility toward you. So why the fuck are you all scared shitless? Butcher, emotional outburst. Despair greater than fear greater than anger greater than helplessness. Obtained ability points, plus 4,567. Huey, emotional outburst. Confusion greater than surprise greater than puzzlement. Obtained ability points, plus 3,567. Mother's milk, emotional outburst. Anger greater than helplessness greater than confusion. Obtained ability points, plus 2,567. Frenchie, emotional outburst. Surprise greater than helplessness greater than confusion greater than puzzlement. Obtained ability points, plus 2,567. After all, I'm not some demon, and I didn't steal your wives, right? Hillel said. Mentioning wives made the veins on Butcher's forehead pop. These guys were giving out some serious points. Huey didn't react much. He still had Robin, and nothing had even started with Starlight yet. He really doesn't seem hostile toward us, Frenchie whispered. Kid, your voice sounds like a drum right next to my ear. I can hear it. Hillel picked his ear. What do you want? Butcher asked. The Guardian really didn't seem like he wanted to kill them. In other words, were they still useful to him? Well, I do hope you cause some trouble for Vought, but you don't seem to know your limits and keep dragging me into it. I can't just sit back and watch, can I? Hillel hinted. Butcher seemed to relax a bit. You mean as long as we don't target you, you won't care what we do? Even the Compound V secrets. Butcher was testing the waters. Correct. Also, I know where your wife is. Don't bother trying to record audio or video of this conversation. Good boys need to behave. Hillel shot into the sky. Butcher panicked. Butcher, emotional outburst. Shock greater than confusion greater than anger. Obtained ability points, plus 12,567. 48. Sam Winchester, EHM, Mr. Marathon. When do you think people die? When they're shot through the heart with a pistol? No, when they're forgotten. Dr. Halulik. When Hillel flew back to Vought Tower, it was already dark. The lights of Manhattan spread out beneath his feet. Butcher and his crew shouldn't cause any more trouble in the short term. Hillel had Butcher's weak spot. The guy could only play good boy and listen to daddy. As for Compound V, let them dig into it. He wasn't a normal soup. Judging by bloodline purity, he wasn't even human anymore. Hillel had planned to go find Queen Maeve, farm some emotions from the cool older sister and get another big batch of ability points. His phone suddenly vibrated. Ashley sent a message. "Are you free to come to the conference room? Someone wants to see you." Another one. "It's a good thing. Absolutely a good thing. I swear." And another. "I beg you, please reply." Hillel curled his lips. Ashley was still as much of a kissass as ever. Living in a world full of soups had anxiety baked into her bones. The 7 conference room. When Hillel pushed the door open and walked in, Ashley was standing by the long table with someone next to her. Male, white, looked like the younger brother from Supernatural. This was the speedster replacing A-Train, Mr. Marathon. But every time Hillel saw him he always thought of Sam Winchester. "Mr. Guardian." The man stepped forward and reached out his hand. "I am Marathon. It's an honor to have your favor." Hillel didn't shake it, he just hovered in the air and glanced at him. Marathon, whose house was full of baby oil and who liked to snort pure stuff on the side. Hillel didn't want to know what was on the guy's hands. Marathon's hand hung awkwardly in the air before he sensibly pulled it back. His smile didn't fade. "Being personally recommended by you is already a huge honor for me." Marathon cherished this interview chance. Hillel landed and pulled out the chair at the head of the table to sit down. "Ashley, go ahead." Ashley switched into work mode immediately. After A-Train and the Deep's positions opened up, the 7 is currently short 2 members. As per your and Homelander's wishes, we need at least one speedster to fill a train spot. We had decided to go with a young face like Supersonic, but due to some disagreements regarding his personal life, we decided to go in this direction. 2 photos appeared on the projector. One was Marathon, the other was Shockwave. Ashley finished giving Marathon's detailed stats, then started tirelessly talking up Shockwave. "We've already leaked the news on social media, #who will be the new member of the 7 hash. The topic is currently trending 3rd nationwide, right behind your and Homelander's daily activities." Ashley spoke faster and faster, eyes shining with excitement. The value of a corporate slave lies in creating value for the boss. Ashley was clearly that type. No matter who gets picked in the end, this wave of hype will push the 7's visibility to a new level. The public loves talent shows, competition, and picking sides. I've designed a 2-week public voting segment. Ashley. Hillel cut her off. "How much kickback did Shockwave give you?" The conference room went dead quiet. Marathon's expression turned weird. Ashley's smile froze instantly. What? Don't play dumb." Hillel crossed his legs and tapped his fingers on the armrest. "In the voting segment you designed, Shockwave clearly got more exposure. The homepage recommendation slot, the order of the topics, even the comparison image puts him on the left. People's eyes naturally go left to right. You're deliberately steering the public. This is just a layout habit. You've been living pretty good lately. I noticed when I flew back there's a new Porsche Cayenne in your parking spot. Also, Mr. Marathon's proposal was decided internally. I never suggested adding extra options, so why the hell did you bring Shockwave in?" Ashley's heart rate shot up and her face went visibly pale. I can explain." No need to explain." Hillel stood up and walked over to Ashley. Ashley instinctively stepped back half a pace, but Hillel just patted her shoulder. "Ashley, you don't need to be nervous." Hillel's tone suddenly turned gentle. "You're a smart person. It's normal for smart people to want to make more money. After all, you're under a lot of pressure and need to splurge to blow off steam. But I don't care whose kickbacks you take. I only care about who you listen to. Understand?" Ashley looked up and met Hillel's eyes. She hadn't expected Hillel to actually be more human than Homelander. He exposed her and then just forgave her. If this had been Homelander, her brains would already be splattered on the wall. Next to them, Mr. Marathon stared hard at the tabletop. What a fascinating table this was. Good. Hillel sat back down in the main seat. Ashley Barrett. Emotional shift. Sense of belonging, loyalty, gratitude. Ability points gained. Plus 8,734. Marathon didn't dare say a word, even though the two people in front of him were openly making a deal that would decide his entire future. By the way, Hillel suddenly remembered something. Do you have any plans tonight? Ashley froze for a second, then her face flushed a little. I have time tonight, then help me check Queen Maeve's schedule for the next few days. Ashley, Queen Maeve. Ashley cleared her throat and switched back to work mode. Speaking of which, I was just about to bring this up with you and Homelander. We've received some news lately. She lowered her voice. Marathon sensibly covered his ears. Queen Maeve might be a lesbian. Paparazzi caught her with a woman at a bar in the West Village. Oh, who's a lesbian? The door got pushed open. Homelander strode in, cape flowing behind him. Maeve followed right behind. Maeve wore her usual heroine armor, face cold as ever, but the second she saw Hillel she quickly looked away. I was just saying. I heard it. Homelander walked over casually, a playful smirk at the corner of his mouth. Maeve is a lesbian. Interesting. His gaze shifted between Hillel and Maeve. So when Hillel took Maeve away last time, did nothing happen at all? Oh ho, Hillel's into Maeve, Maeve likes women. What a love triangle. This was way more entertaining than any reality show Vought produced. Find a seat. Hillel tilted his chin at Homelander. Homelander glanced at Hillel's seat. That was his main seat. It was obvious the other guy had zero intention of giving it up. Homelander's mouth twitched, then he suddenly laughed and sat down on Hillel's right. I'll let you play captain for a day, just for fun, bro. Marathon finally found a bit of presence. He stepped forward toward Homelander, hand outstretched, face full of eager smiles. Mr. Homelander, you look as great as ever. It's truly. Homelander didn't even lift an eyelid. Marathon's smile froze. Fine. So that's how we're playing, huh? Marathon. Hillel spoke up. Sir, I'm here. Marathon straightened his back immediately. The awkward atmosphere from before vanished. What work arrangements do you have recently? Marathon's eyes lit up. The other party was finally paying attention to him. 49. The Deep's on TV. A man has to be a man. He has to confront chaos. He has to confront the unknown. He has to be the one who voluntarily faces the dragon. That's what being a man is. Jordan Peterson. Yes, sir, I accepted a gig, a TV show called Supernatural. It has a dual protagonist setup and I'm playing one of them. But the producers haven't found the other lead yet. If you're interested. Not interested. Hillel cut him off sharply. Supernatural. Interesting. Let the other lead be Soldier Boy. Speaking of which, is Soldier Boy still making bank in Moscow lately? Isn't this just adding more chaos? Vought is already dealing with trouble inside and out, and he's over there sleeping in Moscow. Marathon shrank back, suspecting this was part of the Guardians' game. Hillel turned to Ashley. Marathon and Shockwave, are they clean in private? Any history of drug use? Any other bad habits? Although they had talked about it last time, Marathon was a bit cleaner than A-Train. But all these soups were questionable. If someone could be like Maeve and only smoke a little weed now and then, they'd basically count as a well-adjusted good person. Marathon's expression changed, just as he was about to speak. Sir, you can ask me directly. Buzz. Homelander's eyes lit up with red light. I've found you exceptionally annoying since you walked in. If you can't keep your mouth shut, I'll weld it shut for you myself. Homelander was pissed. He didn't like Marathon to begin with. And the guy was still making noise here. Marathon. Emotional outburst. Fear, humiliation, resentment towards Homelander. Ability points gained. Plus 4,211. Hillel glanced at Homelander, not expecting this god-tier assist. Alright, stop scaring him. Homelander shrugged. He asked for it. Ashley hesitated and looked at Marathon. Truth be told, she hadn't just taken kickbacks from Shockwave. She hadn't missed out on Marathon either. Eating from both sides wasn't shameful. But now with the person right here, money already taken, and she still had to badmouth him. Speak. Homelander and I will back you up. You're the safest ordinary person on Earth right now. No need to be afraid. Ashley swallowed and exchanged a glance with Marathon. Alright, Chud, don't blame me. Both big shots are sitting right here. Marathon looked pale and desperate. Ashley opened her tablet and pulled up 2 files. Marathon, according to Vought's records, he ranks mid to lower among speedsters. He has a history of drug use and inappropriate interest in baby oil as well as loli hentai manga. To be honest, sir, I don't think the Marathon you selected is suitable to join the 7. Bingo. Homelander clapped like a mischievous kid. He laughed while pointing at Hillel. I told you Marathon wasn't suitable. Hillel ignored him and signaled Ashley to keep going. Marathon raised his hand to argue. That wasn't me. My account got hacked before. Nobody paid him any attention. Homelander even looked disgusted. Of course, sir, I'm not questioning your decision. Because even the Shockwave I recommended isn't a good person either. He also has an extensive history of drug use, an unclean private life, and he's a famous bisexual in the circle. It's said he has a lot of tricks. Under VOT there isn't a speedster with a clean record yet. Hillel nodded. Compared to these guys A-Train really was a bit better. If the other party could slowly turn things around, then customizing a misunderstood bad boy persona for him wasn't impossible. After all, the internet was very tolerant of these things. The actor who played Iron Man in his past life was a classic example. From a drug addict loser to the greatest of all time. Then leave the spot vacant for now. Better nothing than trash. He looked at Marathon. You can go now. Marathon wanted to say something, but Homelander was already fuming. Laser eyes were intimidating. Marathon closed the door and left. A suppressed roar came from the hallway. Fuck. Marathon. Emotional outburst. Humiliation, anger, fear, despair. Ability points gained. Plus 6,845. Pedophile. Homelander's tone dripped with disgust. Is trash like that even worthy of joining the Seven? In a company as big as VOT, can't we find a few soups as clean as me? Hillel rubbed his forehead. Even being a bit lustful like me would count as a perfectly decent person, right? Maeve hummed, not wanting to speak. Says the person who kissed me while being in a relationship with Annie, HMPH. Homelander shook his head. Yeah, the quality of soups needs serious improvement. I remember you had 2 assistants. What were their names? Kate and Jordan. They went back to prepare for finals. They have exams coming up. Homelander spread his hands helplessly. The 7 was still incomplete. What kind of 7 was this? Why don't you just join and fill the deep or a train spot? Bro, we can fight side by side. Homelander tapped Hillel's chest. Hillel glanced at him. Sure, how can I refuse, right? Just let me be the captain. Homelander shut up. The atmosphere in the room started to loosen up. Ashley was about to breathe a sigh of relief when her phone vibrated. She glanced at the screen and her face changed. What's wrong? Maeve asked. The Deep, he's on TV. Ashley turned the phone around. On the screen the Deep wore a white casual suit, sitting in a bright studio with the spokesperson from the Church of the Collective across from him. The Deep was doing a confession event. His expression looked rehearsed, repentant, sincere, pained, and even faintly reborn. I am deeply sorry for my past behavior. The Deep faced the camera, eyes slightly red. I hurt Starlight. I hurt a lot of people. But with the help of the Church of the Collective, I have found my true self. The fuck is he up to now? Homelander was fuming again today. What really triggered him was the Deep's next line. As for returning to the 7, I wouldn't dare ask. I only hope Mr. Guardian can give me a chance to prove that I've changed. The screen cut to the comments and barrage. At XQC, has the Deep really changed? Haha, we can see those crocodile tears, buddy. At Kim Kardashian, he has done a lot for our country as well as the environment, and he's so handsome. I guess he just lost his composure in the moment. These things happen, and the Guardian clearly saved Starlight before he could have done anything, so isn't it too much? At the MilkLover, this BTCH Kim just wants his soup dick and attention, what a clown. Where is the feminism now? At MilkLover, so it was the Guardian who kicked him out. I thought it was Homelander. At Clavicular, so that means the Guardian is the big boss of the 7, right? See, I told you that he mogs Homelander. At Ironmouse, guys, what's the Church of the Collective? At Ishomite, woof, woof, woof. After watching, Hillel handed the phone back to Ashley. Church of the Collective, what kind of organization is that? He looked at Homelander. Bro, didn't you say only you could control the 7? How come I feel like any random asshole can kick you around? Homelander looked at Hillel and didn't speak. I think their target might be you, sir, Ashley said. How dare they? Is my hand blade not sharp enough? Hillel tilted his head in bewilderment. Brother, look, you're getting worked up again. Homelander quickly stopped him. They're just a bunch of clowns. Homelander flicked his cape. Ashley, go warn the Church of the Collective. If they dare use the Guardian to stir up trouble for the Deep, I'll have Vatsu their asses. Is a sex offender worthy of staying in the 7? Also, go find a few more superhero representatives in environmental and animal protection fields. I don't believe that in a country as big as America we can't find suitable candidates. Homelander's expression was arrogant. Homelander, emotional fluctuation, discussed the deep desire for control, the 7th desire for performance, displaying decisiveness before the Guardian. Ability points gained, plus 7,823. Hillel raised an eyebrow. Something didn't seem right. Oh, well, whatever. 50. Should the deep return? Yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. That is why it is called the present. Master Ogway, should the deep return? Homelander's attitude was negative, but he clearly wasn't the Homelander from the later stages yet. Only 2 days had passed when Edgar sent a message. Come to my office. Hillel originally planned to ignore it, but Edgar, knowing Hillel's temperament, told Homelander to go get him. Homelander came running over eagerly. He felt a strange sense of satisfaction, like being sent to stand in the corner by the teacher with his brother. Starlight's newly bought slutty suit got tossed back into the washing machine. UG, why must he always cock block? And this time, he even sent you. Let's go, Edgar's lackey. HMPH. Hillel wasn't in a great mood. Homelander had interrupted his good time twice in a row. Hillel used his fastest speed, adrenaline pumping, even pushing double his usual velocity. Viltrumites were a miraculous species. When their bloodline fused with humans, their combat power wasn't fixed. Humans had a mysterious physiological mechanism called Go Beyond, plus Ultra. In plain terms, it was adrenaline. This stuff could push a person's potential to the limit under extreme conditions, creating a temporary surge in combat power. Since Viltrumites were a warrior race, their bodies recorded every change. Once they got stronger, it became their new baseline. As a result, Hillel's speed left Homelander far behind. Homelander huffed and puffed as he caught up, only to find Hillel already waiting by the vending machine with 2 cans of Dr. Pepper. When the hell did your speed get this fast? Homelander looked like he'd seen a ghost. Just now, Hillel acted like it was nothing. Omni-Man could escape a black hole's event horizon. Now that was badass. Let's go. The two entered the elevator one after the other. Office. Edgar still wore his stone-faced expression. Hillel had always suspected Edgar had taken Compound V2 and his superpower was the inability to feel fear. He was facing 2 soups at once. His heart rate didn't change at all. Steady as ever. Sit. Hillel sat down carelessly, propping his legs up on Edgar's desk. Homelander kept his legs together, hands on his lap, sitting as properly as a little girl. Edgar stared at Hillel's posture for a long time. Every time I think you might settle down for a bit, you always manage to give me some new kind of shock. Edgar crossed his hands, mouth twitching uncontrollably. He actually found Homelander much more pleasing to the eye now. Homelander was truly sick, he couldn't control himself. But the Guardian was just pure asshole. Let's talk business first. Hillel drank his Dr. Pepper. Homelander's can stayed untouched in his hand. If you're not drinking it, give it here. Don't waste it. Hillel snatched the can, but Homelander supersped and snatched it back. I didn't say I wasn't drinking it. He popped the can and drank it immediately. Edgar ignored their antics and simply issued a warning. Don't interfere with the Church of the Collective. Homelander frowned. The Deep has already seriously damaged our reputation and you still want to. I said, don't interfere. Edgar's tone didn't waver. This wasn't up for discussion. Homelander stood up and crushed the can. Why, I was the one who kicked him out. If he's allowed back, what does that make me? A fucking joke. Edgar stared straight at Homelander, his gaze carrying natural pressure. Homelander stood there stiff-necked for a moment, then nudged Hillel with his hand. Yo, bro, say something. Am I the only one performing here? Ahem. Hillel gave a tactical cough. Why must the Deep return? Edgar looked at the two of them with surprise. Are Homelander and the Guardian that close? He suppressed his inner confusion and explained. The Church of the Collective has some history with Vought's founder. Do you know what kind of company Vought was at the beginning? Hillel said nothing. Homelander also sat back in his chair, trying to copy Hillel's arrogant vibe, but he only dared to cross his legs. A pharmaceutical company, Edgar said. Vought's founder, Frederick Vought, originally started a pharmaceutical business. Soups, the hero industry, the entertainment empire, all of that came later. In essence, Vought was never a company for soups. It was a pharmaceutical company that just took a different path halfway through. Edgar stood up, walked to the floor-to-ceiling window, and turned his back to them. Quote, "But now that we've gone down this path, we have no choice but to keep walking. There's no turning back." He turned around, his gaze landing on Homelander. The relationship between the Church of the Collective and Frederick Vaught is a board-level matter. They offered us a price we couldn't refuse. Homelander's fists clenched. He had been so confident in the conference room talking about warning the Church of the Collective, only to get warned by Edgar instead. Wasn't this just humiliating him and undermining his authority as the captain over and over? In short, letting the Deep return to the Seven is a decision, not a negotiation, Edgar said in that calm, superior tone of his. Homelander's expression turned ugly as hell. Homelander, emotional fluctuation, shame, humiliation, anger, anxiety, being humiliated in front of the Guardian. Ability points gained, plus 12,847. Any other questions? Quote, "No, none." Homelander squeezed the words out through his teeth. "Then that's it." Edgar nodded and sat back down. "You leave. The Guardian stays." Homelander glanced at Hillel and walked out, fuming. "You know he can see what's happening in here and hear our conversation, right?" Hillel said. "Haha, and I want him to hear it." Edgar said, "The Church of the Collective is nothing, but they have some friends in Congress who can help Vought push certain policies. As long as the Deep stays alive during this period, that's enough." "Just staying alive is enough." "Yes, he can stand at events, attend functions, give speeches. His image needs to look presentable. We don't care about anything else." "You're a smart man. You know what I mean." Hillel nodded. Edgar was a smart man. He could handle Homelander, and now he was figuring out how to handle the Guardian too. Interesting. Hillel walked out. Homelander stood there with a gloomy face, staring at his own reflection on the wall. "I was right before, wasn't I? Any random asshole can kick you, the captain." Homelander puffed out his cheeks, breathing hard. He had heard the entire conversation between Edgar and the Guardian. But he couldn't tolerate the compromise. As long as the Deep got back on the team, his image and approval ratings would tank. "What can I do? Kill the Deep, or keep assassinating the head of the Church of the Collective?" Homelander roared in anger. Hillel wiped the spit off his face, looking disgusted. "Hey, just talk normally. Why the fuck are you shouting so loud?" "Sorry, I can't control myself." Homelander clenched his fists over and over, pacing in the elevator. The two waited for a while. The elevator door didn't open. "Fuck, press the elevator button. How unprofessional." Hillel cursed loudly, jabbing the button until it exploded. The elevator's red alarm light came on. Homelander, early access to 12 advanced chapters. P.A.T. MilkLover fanfics. To be continued.